small Filipino community.
Yeah.
Hey, keep that going real quick, Jarrell, so I can load it.
The screen?
Yeah.
All right.
Just 2 degrees of Filipino separation.
Literally.
Let me know when.
I've known. So I know his.
You're good.
You're her cousin's baby daddy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
The sperm donor.
Late night organ donor.
Oh, yeah.
I've known her for a while. I've known her since high school.
Well used quote.
I'm a organ donor at night.
What high school did you go to, or what city did you grow up in?
So I kind of grew up all around, but I went to high school in Irvine.
Okay.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
let's pause there and let's just welcome to the Cave Podcast, guys. It's your boy Joe Reezy, and I'm here with proper ASM, PQ, and a special guest tonight. We got Nick from Kulturatattoo. What's up? Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you guys for having me on. This should be fun. This is the first time I've ever guest spotted on a podcast. So
really,
nice.
That's awesome.
And then
for the people, for the people that don't know, why don't you use this time to give a little intro, give people some background about you.
So I'm a tattoo artist based in Southern California. My shop is in Garden Grove. It's called Kulturatattoo. We opened up 1 year ago in November, so literally just hit our 1 year anniversary. Originally from Southern California. I'm Filipino-American, born and raised in SoCal. Pretty much my whole life. Kind of moved around a little bit. Michigan for 5 years when I was really little, but for the most part, born and raised in Southern California.
Nice,
awesome.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So to pick up where we left off, you went to high school in Irvine?
Yeah, I went to high school in Irvine. I moved there. I went to high school and middle school in Irvine. And before that, I was in Michigan for 5 years. And then before that was like Walnut, Long Beach, a little bit in Huntington Beach. Literally, like, it was kind of all over, moved around a lot. But it was kind of cool because you learn to socialize with different people and adjust to new environments all the time.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I feel like anything past Hudson's a whole new world.
So you're from Tustin?
I'm from Irvine, but I have recently moved to Long Beach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I grew up in Buena Park, but yeah, it's crazy how even actually, no, I feel like San Diego is pretty similar to like Irvine. I feel like, yeah, after you cross Tustin, southward bound, it's all pretty similar as far as the vibe goes.
Yeah, I think where the big difference comes in is when you go from LA to Orange County.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
Huge
For
difference.
sure.
Yeah,
Huge.
definitely. Like the kids that I knew that were born and raised in Irvine, some of them, I think it would be difficult for them to properly socialize with people from LA.
Not even like the social aspect of it. Like you saw it during the pandemic in 2020. Like even the political side of it was drastically different. It felt like going into another country, just taking the 5 sometimes.
No, for sure. Especially like in Orange County specifically, there's a very large evangelical population. And I think, when people think of California, they think blue state, which 100% we are a blue state, but Orange County in particular is very red.
Yeah.
In a lot of places.
Mm-hmm.
This is true.
Mm-hmm.
We're the Bloods.
Pretty much. I mean,
Look,
you know what I'm saying?
See?
But I always wonder that. Do you think that's going to diminish, though, in the future? Because it's kind of looking that way, right?
What?
Orange County being a red area.
Except for Huntington Beach. That's the one's never going to change.
Yeah.
But it's always going to be red. Yeah.
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 Well, I mean, it seems like people are catering to whatever's beneficial for them at the time as well.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just kind of playing their cards a lot of times. based on like whatever policies are coming out. I mean, there's always been a trend as far as like, you know, red versus blue politically, but some of those lines are starting to blur.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I think that like, I don't know, because I have been thinking about that recently. I didn't think about it as diminishing though. If anything, I feel like it might be growing, especially in the younger generation for whatever reason.
Right.
Yeah, but that could just be my perspective. And then because especially in the general election that passed recently, I was thinking like, and considering the 2020 election, like, okay, if we get comfortable again, who knows? Maybe California will turn red, but that's very, very unlikely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Especially now.
Right.
Yeah.
Was there like so you know, I know you're a co-owner for a tattoo shop. Was there a lot for you to adapt to as far as like policies and things like that, and for like running the business, or did you like hire someone to, you know, like to help you with the payroll and all that? Because I know like depending on the state, there's different policies like on pay and then taxes and all that sort of thing.
That's a good question. I did not outsource any services for literally anything because I'm broke. So, you know, it cost a lot of money to start up, especially we did everything out of pocket. So there really wasn't much room to hire any outside services. So pretty much right now, like, and you know, when we first started, I was handling everything. Payroll for tattoo shops is pretty simple because technically everybody's an independent contractor.
Okay.
You don't have anybody that's on hourly. Apprentices don't get paid at all, so you know we don't really have to worry about them. They'll make money if they tattoo, but we take 50% of their cut. And for the most part, you pay them through, like we get paid through Zelle or Venmo or things like that, and then you just split the cut. And then everybody files their own taxes separately.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and, you know, and that was one of the things that I really struggled with too when we first started up is like, okay, how do I... Because tattooing in general has been underground for so long, and there's a lot of tattoo shops that just don't follow rules. Like labor laws,
Right.
taxes, you know, reporting.
Especially in prison.
Yeah. So you know, like when I was apprenticing, I didn't really see any like, like they weren't like super official about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like trying to figure out how to reconcile the things that I learned from my mom who works in corporate and her advice on how to run things versus like what I've learned, and reconciling that was definitely a challenge and still is a challenge.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So was it hard for you, or like, did you know like when you started tattooing that ultimately you'd want to have your own shop, or how did that come up?
Yes, definitely. From pretty much the moment that I had the epiphany of, okay, tattooing is what I want to do for the rest of my life, it was always like, okay, I'm going to have my own shop. I'm not really the type of person who can like work under somebody for forever.
Right.
Yeah, that's just kind of, it's like, for me, I feel like if I'm going to do something, I'm going to try and be the best at it. Like even having just one shop to me isn't good enough. Like I want to have multiple shops, and then I'd like to be one of the you know, the top of the industry, like somebody that's well known for their work and for being professional and things like that. To me, I wouldn't be satisfied if I was just mediocre, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I think for anyone that's striving, you should be aiming high, right? So
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you too. So you said you've been wanting to do tattooing ever since you like. What was that moment where you said I want to do that? And did you start off as an artist, or did the art side of you come after?
I had always, ever since I was little, been really into art. I think what sparked it when I was like 3 years old was my pops would work the graveyard shifts and my mom would work the day shift. So during the day he would watch me and or babysit me, and we would just draw and make art in the garage. And I saw him and how good he was at drawing. I'm like, okay, I want to be better, you know. And then it kind of sparked from there. And then I always was drawing, trying to paint and do different things. And then when I got older after high school, once I graduated, I'm like, shit, what do I want to do? You know? And I being in the Filipino culture, I was like, okay, well, I can't do something with art, right? Because that's not, my mom's not going to accept that. So I kind of forced myself initially to get into math. I started off as a math major at University of Hawaii. And then I realized that I would have to take calculus classes at 8 a.m. And I was like, yeah, I don't know about this.
That's funny. You know, it's like being Filipino. You could be anything you want. Just make sure it's a nurse.
Yeah. Like 3 things. My mom literally said that to me. She's like, you could be anything you want as long as it's 3 things: doctor, lawyer, engineer.
Or a mailman.
My uncle's a mailman.
Exactly.
Little did you know you'd be doing a little bit of all those things in your current career.
Yeah.
Indirectly.
Yep. Exactly.
You're pushing needles in people like a nurse. Yeah.
I'm basically a doctor. I told my mom that.
Mom, I'm giving injections.
Yeah. Different
A bunch at a time.
Actually,
style.
in Korea, you have to be a doctor in order to legally be a tattoo artist.
Oh wow!
Oh, wow.
It's even harder to be a tattoo artist in Korea. Don't go to Korea, guys, if you don't want to be a doctor.
You can't get into bathhouses if you're covered in tattoos. Like, they'll kick you out.
Yeah, in Japan. I remember I was in
wow.
Japan. Like, I would look at bathhouses, and you would have to look for places that say they're okay with tattoos. Just, but I mean, they're more open to foreigners wearing tattoos because they're like, okay. But if you're Japanese, it's like a huge thing. Like, you can't. Have it.
I'm Yakuza, though.
Oh, perfect.
That's exactly why.
Is there a higher degree of quality of care as far as tattoos go, or tattoos are in Korea, since you have to somewhat be medically certified to become a tattoo artist?
I'm not particularly sure. I mean, I'm sure that they have a bunch of underground tattoo artists there. That would be my assumption. But I have seen some really sick work coming out of Korean tattoo artists on Instagram. Some of them are really sick.
Yeah, I actually seen like this Korean tattoo artist who was posting that he was in LA, and I didn't realize how big he was. He had people lining up and setting appointments, and his tattoos were very simple. It wasn't like anything crazy, but people wanted it. It looked like clip art. I was like, wow, people really want that.
You know, it's so crazy, like with social media now, right? And this is not necessarily like representative of that particular artist. Like, I think I know who you're talking about, and his work is really sick. But with social media now, like, if you can generate a lot of followers, your work doesn't even have to be that great, you know.
That's kind of like the thing about social media.
Yeah.
You could be ass as long as you have a ton of followers. We're like, oh, he's got 1 billion followers. He's good. No.
Yeah, exactly. Because people don't know what they're looking at. You know, people watch Ink Masters for a season and they're like, oh, I know what a good tattoo is.
Speaking of good tattoos, I know you've come across, have you ever done any touch-up work where you're like, holy shit, why did you let this person do this to you?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the fucking time.
What's the wildest one? Because I love hearing those stories. Like when I get a tattoo from my guy, he always tells me the funniest stories, so I want to hear some from you.
He had Alf on his chest.
Like the craziest tattoo that I've done in general, or craziest tattoo that I've touched up?
Like touched up, and you're just sitting there, can't believe someone put this on themselves.
Oh gosh, you know, I don't know. I can't say that like I've seen some like really weird ones. I guess I've seen some that were not the greatest quality. I don't know. I don't want to make my my clients feel bad.
Okay.
They're
That's
listening.
One
Fair
time
enough.
I had to
There
cover
was
up.
one guy
dick.
that really fucking shitting.
His jaw drops on
Yeah.
the stream right now. Wait, that's me.
Oh shit.
He's gonna
But I've
go to
had
you.
some-
Can you
I've
touch
had
up the
some,
work
like-
you did? I don't like it anymore.
Yeah.
Comes in next week.
I've had some really weird requests though. We've had some weird requests. Like I had this one must have been a prank because somebody called in and asked if they could get a dick tattooed on their face, and I'm like, "Are you?" I asked them like, "Are you sure? Like, you sure that's what you want?" They're like, "Yeah, they want it to be realistic." I'm like,
Please
"Okay."
tell me you did it.
No.
Uh,
I was working as an apprentice at the time, and I asked my boss, and I was like, "Should I do it?" And he's like, "Yeah, just make sure she pays up front and she signs like specifically on the waiver that she wants a dick tattooed on her face." And then my business partner, he actually got a request one time from a woman. She wanted to get a sunflower around her asshole, and her reasoning was because she wanted her boyfriend to have something nice to look at while he was hitting it from the back.
I mean, that's thoughtful.
That's sweet.
Yeah, you know.
Well, that reminds me of one time I heard about this girl with a tattoo of like a heart on her ass, and when it would like spread apart, it was a broken heart.
Oh, my
That's
god!
kind of sad
I
though.
want you to break my heart tonight, baby.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, she like this
Goddamn.
girl. She was like, "It's like I'll make sure it's clean. Like I'll help you spread." And he was like, "No, I'm good."
Wow.
Rips ass right in front of you while you're trying. Fuck, man.
Keep my heart together, baby.
Hey, honey, I got flowers for you. Where?
I got you flowers for
Yeah.
today. Happy Valentine's Day.
Imagine the whole
Always the
session.
same flowers.
She's able to just hold like a perfectly good conversation too. It's like, what the fuck?
You gotta imagine
Doctor.
holding-
Yeah, you used to this.
This
Not
isn't
even
your first
phased.
time. Yeah, you got a needle going around the edges of your asshole. And she's just like, so, how many more clients you got today?
Yeah.
I
You do a lot of these kinds of tattoos or what?
Oh, yeah. No, there's some weird ones, but
I bet.
shit, I'll do it as long as it's not a swastika, you know.
Yeah. So like, but real talk though, like, do you think, or would you say that you have any kind of like specialty, like something that is like where you feel like you excel?
Yeah, like explain to people what your style is as far as your tattoo style goes.
So I've been doing a lot of black and gray realism. I would say that's probably my main specialty. I can also do Japanese and tribal. I really do enjoy tribal. I'd like to do more of that. But my favorite tattoos to do are the memorial tattoos. I think it's a very, very special experience to have with your client to do a memorial tattoo for somebody.
Oh wow, that's deep.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of pressure
Sometimes I'll
with
be
that?
crying while I'm tattooing, like because they're crying and I start crying. I'm like, my uncle died 10 years ago too. Shit.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I actually got one of those tattoos on me, so it's definitely more meaningful. But is there a lot of pressure on the artist to get it done? Obviously, to the liking of the customer.
I mean, I think there is pressure, but you also have to be confident in your ability. You know, like I used to get really, really nervous before tattooing. When I first started, I would take CBD gummies just to relax because like my hands would be shaking. I'd be like sweating. But now that I'm a little bit further into it, I'm like, okay, you know, like I got this. And if for whatever reason I make a mistake, like I can figure out how to correct it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine
How many tattoos do you think you've done to get to the point where you weren't so nervous anymore going into it?
Gosh, I don't know. That's hard to say because it was just such a gradual building up of confidence. And of course, like there's certain pieces that I still get nervous with. Like portraits of kids are really difficult because they have such round faces. It's very soft shading, very soft gradients. So it's much harder to tattoo a kid's face than it is to do an adult's face. So that one I get nervous still.
Yeah, I guess those things kind of, you're not really conscious of them when it happened. Like you kind of get lost into doing your thing, and then all of a sudden, when you take a step back, you're like, damn, I'm not so nervous anymore going into things.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. What about, are there any clients that kind of make you nervous? I know that, when you get to a certain level of confidence, you kind of do your thing. You're comfortable with certain kind of clients, but are there like, I don't know, sometimes drunk people go in and get tattoos, are there like weird, unpredictable kind of people that make you more alert when tattooing kind of,
Not really that I can think of. For the most part, my clients are amazing, Yeah, I can't really think of somebody that or like a type of person that I would feel on guard around. I guess just because like I try to really make my clients feel comfortable. It's about like their experience, more so than it is. I mean, I guess I'm more thinking about how their experience is going and making them feel comfortable.
I guess you'd get more of the crazies in like Vegas or like Venice, right?
There's definitely annoying drunk people, but we can usually handle them. Like if they're really bad, we'll turn them away. The people we really have to worry about are the homeless people that like to hang around the shop and piss on the walls and throw stuff at the cameras and stuff.
Tattoo to be all piss on your walls.
You accept piss?
They like, I don't know if they have a personal problem with us, but they fuck with us, man. Like they really mess with us like every day, It's always something new. But any potential clients, don't be afraid to come to the shop. It's okay.
They got security.
It happens anywhere.
Yeah. You'll be all right, I promise.
Are there any tattoos that you've done on yourself or what was like the first tattoo you've ever done? The
first tattoo I ever did, your initial question, I never tattooed myself because my mentor, great tattoo artist, his name is Ryback. He's cool. He's a great tattoo artist, but one of the things that he imparted on me was not to tattoo myself because to save my skin for some really sick big pieces, and then my very first tattoo was a rose on my my friend's ankle. She was nice enough to let me do my first tattoo on her.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a culture of tattoo artists being frowned upon when they tattoo themselves? Because we spoke to an artist previously, and I guess his mentor is your mentor is the person you apprentice under, right?
Yeah.
I guess he said at the time that it was kind of looked down upon. Is that a thing, or is that just kind of their culture?
In my personal experience, I haven't heard anything about it being looked down upon. It could have just been the culture at that person's shop. The way that my mentor Ryback kind of explained it to me wasn't like, like that the industry looks down on that. It's just, he presented as like he didn't want me to do that, so I respected it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as your apprenticeship goes, is there like a universal or a uniform format for like a graduation phase from the apprenticeship, or is that kind of does that differentiate depending on each person's progress? Like, how does one transition from the apprenticeship into an actual independent artist?
It really depends on your mentor. It depends on the type of apprenticeship you're in. There's no format, or it's not like an internship at a regular company. You're kind of at the mercy of your mentor. Whenever they say you're ready, you're ready. Some people are graduated in 6 months. Some people, I was in an apprenticeship for like 3 years. It just depends. Like the really old school way of doing it is you're in an apprenticeship for a long time, and they basically treat you like shit. They kind of haze you and see if you're willing to really be in this industry. And then once you prove yourself, okay, you're ready.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the
process? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to ask what the process is as far as choosing a mentor. Do you just kind of, it's one of those things where you show up at their door and you're like, hey, I'd like to take an apprenticeship under you, or Like, how does that go if one was to go approach a potential mentor?
So traditionally what you would do is you would go to, of course, you want to research like the tattoo artist that you're going to mentor under. And then you want to take your portfolio and go to different shops and say, hey, are you guys hiring? This is my portfolio. And then, if somebody accepts you, then they're like, okay, you're going to start off taking out the trash, sweeping the floors, mopping the floors, doing all the bitch work. And then you kind of go from there. I got really lucky. I knew my mentor beforehand. I worked at a martial arts studio. I was a front desk girl, and he was a member. And so I had kind of gotten to know him already, and I asked if he was looking for an apprentice. He was like, yeah. So.
Yeah, shout out to Ryback. I love that fool. Fool's funny.
Oh my gosh, he talks so much sometimes through his tattoos. Sometimes I'm like feeling bad for the clients. I'm like, bro, they're in so much pain. Like, shut the fuck up.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
Dude,
Yes.
me and one of the other artists, we were sitting in the other room listening to him talk to his client, and we're like, all right, bro, let's bet on like how many times, you know what I'm saying? Whoever loses has to buy the other food. And we were just fucking dying in the other room. He comes out, he's like, what are you guys laughing at? No, tell me. Yeah. He's funny. He's a great artist, great teacher. So yeah, shout out to Ryback.
So have you transitioned to that role yet as a mentor?
Yes. So I have an apprentice right now. She's more so like the shop apprentice. Her name is Emily. If she's listening, hello. Shout out to Emily. It's definitely, I understand Ryback much more. Yeah, I understand more things of why. I understand more of like why he did certain things that I would get frustrated about, or why apprenticeships are the way that they are. Definitely a learning experience. It's definitely a challenge, but also rewarding. You know, it's like my little sister.
You've become him. You're always saying, you know what I'm saying?
I know. I do. But like I try to say it in a more like sophisticated way. I'm like, do you understand where I'm coming from? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sophistication. Let's go.
Yeah.
Do you comprehend?
Do you comprehend? No, I do. I'm like, I really notice like every day more and more. I'm like, shit, I'm Ryback.
That's funny as fuck.
Yo, yeah, I really admire the
words
goals
that are
you
coming
set.
out of my mouth.
And, oops, sorry.
No, go ahead. No, I'm just bullshitting. Go ahead.
It's rush hour, right?
Yeah.
I was just saying, like, I like how you've set goals and you're really like looking forward into the future in terms of your career. So how close are you to opening up like a second tattoo shop?
It's definitely a 5-year goal. I can't say
What
how
year are
close
you on?
We're on year 1.
Okay.
Yeah. Year 1. Definitely within the next 5 years. I prefer to set a deadline than kind of like think about how close I am now, because then I'll feel like I'm never close enough.
Oh,
right.
But it's been a process, you know.
Right.
It's definitely been a process.
Yeah,
I just
want. Sorry, earlier I was going to mention, you know, the whole concept about measuring when your like apprentice is going to be ready is just, I mean, that's such a difficult thing for this type of industry, because I mean, each of us have had interest in a subject that was like art related, and it's not like there's not necessarily something that you can measure. You know, like when you go work like an office job or something, there's going to be like a list of procedures or something you need to learn. But on the art side, it's kind of
abstract, kind of.
Yeah, it's so abstract. And, you know, a lot of times you're basing it off of other people's emotions, how they react to your work. And, you know, is that something that would you agree with that?
Not necessarily, because there are certain benchmarks that you have to reach, like certain techniques that you need to master before you graduate. Like you could give a shitty tattoo and your client won't know. you know, and they'll be like, oh my God, this is amazing. But you bring it back to your mentor. Like I would do a tattoo and I'd bring it back to Ryback and he'd be like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck happened? You know, and he'd circle all the fucked up parts. And I thought I did a great job, you know? So it's like you cherish the moment that they're finally like, okay, this is good.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting to hear. I mean, because that's a contrast that obviously you know because you're in that industry. But out of like us here on this episode, I'm probably the only one who's never had a tattoo. So I have zero experience with that, and it's interesting to hear that.
It's time because actually Neek is going to tattoo all of us. She's going to put the letter K on me.
Let's do
4
it.
on Jarrell, and we're all going to come together and just spell cave. I want to be the bee.
You didn't get the memo or what?
I did not get that memo.
Live tattoo.
Give me our butt cheeks so when we stand next to each other.
Oh no. What I do like about the tattoo industry though is that mentorship, apprenticeship type of idea because like Pat said, you don't really get that in any other professional field where you kind of put in a request to become an apprentice, and you have your portfolio, your work to show for like your potential, your capabilities, and being like a fan of martial arts is pretty cool because it's, it's kind of like showing up to your master and be like, hey, I want to learn your way.
Yeah.
Is there any other fields or any professions that have that kind of mentorship type of
plumbers
have mentorship?
Probably like welders, stuff like that.
Yeah, trades. Yeah.
Huh.
It's there's pros and cons to tattoo apprenticeships, right? Like the traditional way, there are certain things about it that I find value in, and then there are other things that I feel are a bit outdated. But I think that the very close relationship that you build with your mentor is significant. You come to really know that person, and
it's like Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Yeah, that's like literally what I'm thinking about.
Extension of them, you're carrying on the lineage. Yeah, you're part of that. Like your mentor, and then. You're that lineage. It's your tattoo family. In certain tattoo shops, like for example, Jesse Yen and his apprentices, when you finish your apprenticeship, you get the family name tattooed on you.
Wow, that's sick.
That's pretty dope.
That's really sick. It's like the sigil, or their crest.
Yeah, the crest.
But then again, like so that's the pro, right? It's like this really cool sense of community, and these strong bonds. But then also at the same time, like. I remember I thought about applying there and I went to go interview and they're like, if you work here, you can never work at any other shop once you graduate. You cannot leave. They're like, if you leave, like we're going to, well, this is what I've heard. You know what? No, I don't want to put it out there because I don't know if it's true. So, but so they also said like, you have to give up beef. You can't drink, can't smoke. And after they said that, I was like, yeah, I'm good.
You have to tell us your pronouns. You have to.
Yikes.
That's a lot. That's asking a lot of someone.
Never really actually thought about that side of it too. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and they're rough on you. Like it can be very mentally difficult to go through a tattoo apprenticeship. Like mine was it definitely was challenging, but I've heard of stories of people killing themselves because of tattoo apprenticeships because it's so rough sometimes.
Wow.
Do you feel crazy. As like being a female in the whole tattoo industry, do you still, I mean, I see the tattoo industry as like they're very more open-minded about things because they've always been, but do you feel as just because being a female, you've had to go through more obstacles than your male counterparts?
Yes and no. Yes, because of course sexual harassment is just very prevalent,
Yeah.
Like from your
that's
clients,
like anywhere, right?
Like, yeah, like from anywhere. And then I feel like especially in the tattoo industry, because people don't always respect it as a legitimate job. They think like, oh, like it's they're
I'll just get tatted up.
Yeah, like they're easy or whatever.
They
like,
just trace pictures on your body.
Yeah, like and it's like, okay, you may think that, but like we don't have HR. Like, no, Kuya Mike will just fucking kick your ass and throw you out on the street. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
It's a little different. Like, you're not gonna get written up. So, and then also the other side of it too, though, is that females do have an advantage in the industry because a lot of times people, not a lot of times, but sometimes people prefer to go to female artists, especially other females, because they feel more comfortable. Because there are male tattoo artists out there that will creep on their female clients, and it's more common
I believe
than
that.
people like to talk about. Yeah,
I believe
yeah,
that.
and this is the thing with apprenticeships too, is because people don't follow labor laws, and they're pretty much free to do whatever they want to you without again, there's no HR, without fear of repercussion. It leaves a lot of room for both male and female apprentices to be taken advantage of by their mentors.
Yikes. So I also feel like, yeah, like you said, sometimes people prefer to have a female do their tattoo. But would you say also that there's guys who purposely pick girls just so they could talk to them while they're getting their tattoos? Like, so you come here often? Bitch, I work here.
Yeah, you know, I'm sure.
And stuff.
Yeah, that's another advantage of female tattoo artists. You know, like if you look at there's some female tattoo, like I don't want to talk shit, but there's some female tattoo artists out there, and like they're just, you know, posting a lot of selfies and posting videos of themselves, and their work is like, you know, it's obviously not like the top of the industry, and it's still, you know, it's decent, but like they'll have like 200K followers and be booked out months, and it's like, damn, man, they have to show my ass too. Shit.
Yeah. I mean,
they've got priorities.
Money, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, everyone's just trying to make money, and whatever works for them. If they got to show an ass cheek, show an ass cheek.
Post a thirst
Might
trap.
pay extra a little bit too for some extra. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, I like your Snoopy on your butt.
There's definitely clients that are male that would go to a female tattoo artist because of that.
It's kind of weird, wouldn't it be? Like, would you have any weird, like you're tattooing a guy and he starts trying to like hit on? I feel like men do that, or at least the drunk ones, because I used to go to DTF a lot, and there would be this tattoo shop, and I'm always wondering, like, oh, damn, I hope I don't get too drunk and end up in there.
I personally have not had a client cross that line like that. I've had people be like flirty, but nothing really completely inappropriate. I've had like there was like, I didn't tattoo them, but they were a couple of guys that came, younger guys. I was probably like 20 at the time, or 22 or something, and they came in, they're like, oh, I want to get a tattoo of like ants. And I was like, okay, you know, where you want to get it? And they like pointed to like their groin area. And then they were like, are you going to do it? And my Kuya Mike, my business partner, he's a big Filipino guy. He's like, no, I'm going to do it.
It sounds so crazy, though, that like somebody would go, you know, get a tattoo just to like talk to a certain person, because it's not like a haircut. Like, you know, you can't just get rid of that shit.
I think it's more so like they'll get there. They'll probably get to the shop and be like, oh damn, like this female is cute. Like,
she's fine.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And then you find out he's a bitch when you put a tattoo on. He's like, oh.
They pass out.
Yeah.
Ruins the game, bro. But you know what? There's probably a population of guys that go get henna. Just to get some game and shit.
Jay Sean probably does. That's why he's not popping anymore.
You know, the only clients that I've had actually like faint or pass out there are men.
Wow.
That I've
I almost passed out during one tattoo because well, it wasn't because I was scared or anything, but I was just getting numb, and it was 14 hours in. I was like, oh wow.
Yeah.
And I couldn't feel my arm anymore.
Damn, 14 hours. What the hell were you getting tattooed?
I was getting a tribal thing done. I would take it off, but I'm cold, so.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Take it off. Take it off.
Okay. Maybe later. No, but he was like touching up this tattoo because, all right, so one of my tattoos it was one of my first tattoos, typical Filipino sun, right? But it was, but it was done pretty poorly because it was a guy's first tattoo and he was a family friend. But I kind of wanted to keep it on just because, you know, the history. I was like, it was my first tattoo.
Yeah.
And I found out he got arrested for, doing weird shit to his daughter. I was like, cover this shit up.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
you don't
cover
want
this
that
shit up.
memory.
So he did that, and we decided to just do a full on half sleeve. So got here, and then we hit 6 hours, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm not doing anything. Are you doing anything?" He's like, "No." I was like, let's just finish it. And yeah, we went 14 hours, and I just said, "Dog, are you almost done?" He's like about an hour. I was like, "You said that like 10 times."
That's crazy, man. I don't know. Like, that's a long time. That's dangerous too, because it's a lot of stress on your body. You gotta you gotta hydrate. You gotta eat. A lot of people don't realize that it is a lot of stress. It lowers your blood sugar levels will drop. That's why when people pass out, we'll give them candy.
So that's
He
why
did not give me candy.
I was going to ask what is like the reason that people pass out. But hey, Jermaine,
Like donating blood.
is it the same guy that probably did mine?
No.
All right, we'll talk later because I thought it was the same guy that probably did mine.
Chop my
I need to
hand
get
off
that shit
one.
covered too.
Oh, Carl? Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Oh man, I was trying not to say his name, but it is.
I don't give a fuck.
Ah shit.
He's registered,
Like,
and
fuck
he should have done that
You
shit.
mean Santos or?
Say his last name too. No, I'm just
Yeah, it was that guy.
No way. All right.
Yeah.
Damn. Actually, I think I might have already gotten that. Ryback covered up that tattoo.
Oh, okay. There you
That's
go.
dope. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, I have, okay, it's not exactly the same, but like it kind of sucks when you get a tattoo from somebody and then you end up not liking that person.
Yeah.
I have a tattoo from one of the guys that used to work at the shop, and he was just a dick to me when I was an apprentice. So every time I look at it, I think of fucking Billy.
You should just get
All the
a dick
government dicks
right
out
over
here.
it. Be like, yep, it's a dick because he was a dick.
Then I'll just have a dick on my leg.
Yeah.
Third leg.
It's an eventual cover up too.
Yeah.
You just cover it up with another dick. It's just a bigger dick.
No, it's actually so funny. So Billy was like the only white guy at the shop, and my mentor Ryback just he can't remember white people's names. Like, so he could just
It's like
never
Steve.
remember Billy's real name, and so he just always called him Billy, but that wasn't even his name. And,
What was his
and
name?
eventually, it was Brian. So you could tell he was so annoyed every time he would get called Billy, but he didn't want to say anything because that's his boss. I guess that's my theory.
The Blue
And
Ranger.
even to this day, like Ryback still can't remember his name. He still calls him Billy,
Mm.
even though he doesn't work at the shop anymore.
Close enough though.
Yeah.
Fair enough, right?
It's better to be like, hey, white boy.
Yeah. I don't know if you would have liked that either.
Yeah, exactly. So pick.
Gotta have your
Billy's
white
fine.
person in the shop.
Call me Whitey.
Is it typical for apprentices to go through just one mentor, or is it rare for an apprentice to have like multiple mentors before they graduate into becoming their own?
Ideally, you want one mentor, because a lot of times when if you switch to another shop, it's kind of looked down upon. You look like you're shop hopping. And then also, if you move to another shop, a lot of times they will just make you start all over. So if you quit like a year into your apprenticeship, fucking year wasted.
Yeah, so you better pick a shop you want to stick with. Right.
Research the artist that you're mentoring under. See if you like their work.
Stop shop hopping. I like that.
She's a shop hopper.
Shop hopping.
She went from homie hopping to shop hopping to shopping at Ross.
Yeah,
So we all have well, most of us have tribal tattoos. Let's take this time to segue kind of into the culture. And before we get to that, I kind of want to just ask and take this time to educate the audience if they don't know about some of the symbols that are in the tribal tattoos. Can you kind of just go into the basic, like the bird, the spears, certain patterns and the meaning of certain tribal tattoos?
Yeah, I'm more familiar with the Filipino tribal patterns than I am with the Polynesian, so I'll kind of like touch on the Filipino ones more so, because I don't want to give wrong information. But
Perfect.
And it's so the main difference between Filipino tribal and Polynesian tribal is you can clearly see from the looks of it, the traditional Filipino tribal is very linear. Versus the Polynesian tribal it flows with the body a lot. So Filipino tribal actually has some of the same patterns as the Polynesian tribal. And I'm sure there's other tribal patterns out there from other cultures too that have almost the same pattern, but they all mean different things depending on what culture. So for example, in Filipino tribal, you have the snake scales, which in Polynesian culture would be the honeycomb. So there's, especially for women traditionally, you get a lot of the snake motif patterns, like the snake tongue, the snake scales, things like that, and it's supposed to be like protection. So the snakes kind of represent your ancestors, right? Like the tongue, right? The tongue is like supposed to be like your ancestors kind of speaking to you and shit. And a lot of times you'll see, there you go, yeah. So the one on the big picture, I believe that's the crocodile belly in the middle. I want to say, oh no, this is the crocodile belly. On the side of those, almost, I want to say those are, yeah. On the side of that, you'll see this looks like the centipede legs. So that's something that you see on both the male and the females. It's a symbol for a warrior, right? So all the legs.
That's sick.
Yeah, and when they go to war, right, all the warriors have to like work together to win the battle and shit. And so all the legs have to work together in the centipede. So it symbolizes that it's protection.
I saw on your page like that you had this sick one of where there was a karambit incorporated into it.
Yeah.
So is it like kind of a normal thing for like when you're doing the Filipino tribals that there'll be like weapons incorporated? Because there's a lot of sick Filipino weapons, like the panabas, the sword,
the balisong, the karambit, things like that. I not in the traditional ones, particularly, but in the kind of like new school,
like more modern
Filipino tribal. Yeah, that's one thing that I really enjoy too, is like putting Filipino tribal patterns into other designs and kind of Easter egging it in there.
That's sick. Yeah.
Are you familiar with like baybayin and all that stuff? Have you ever done those? And are you able to translate them too? Was that because I know to get those done, you need to find someone who actually knows what the hell they're tattooing on your body.
There's only 3 people left.
Oh no!
Better find one.
Because I got 3 of them.
I've done them before. I'm not an expert in translating them. I know there's some people that are they're sticklers about it has to be exactly correct. But
yeah,
I have one on my neck. Which neck is it? Which side is it?
Which neck?
Which neck? How many necks you got?
It's this one.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, word.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got one right here. It says Lakas, and I have one on my forearm.
Nice.
Pamilla, because there's no L in Baybayin, apparently. And then the other one says Mahal. I don't. It's cool, but I wanted to get more things, but just hearing you got to have the right person to translate it. It's like, God.
I mean, shit. Nobody there's fucking 3 people that know how to directly translate it. Nobody else is going to be able to read it. Like, in my opinion, like
that's
the
true.
guy who,
I thought about that too.
The guy who did it also says familia on it. The guy who did it, he's a white guy, great artist down at Guru Tattoo. I got it with my baby cousins. We were on a little trip. So we got very lucky that he was there and was willing to do it as a walk-in because he's booked out months. But he was asking me, he's like, do you wanna like double check that it's exactly correct?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sick. See,
Sick.
nobody's gonna fucking know if it's correct.
Well, no, this one's correct because I actually paid for that one. And I got see that one.
Yeah, see, I got.
But then the forearm, I don't know, but
Does that say Thai or what?
it says malit ang tite.
Oh no.
The guy asked me, he's like, do you want to double check that it's correct? Like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, man, if it's not, nobody's going to be able to fucking read it. So it's fine. I probably shouldn't say that, but
Have you seen some that are like, that doesn't even say that, man? Like, who fucking did that to you?
because I don't know. I can't.
Oh, okay.
It's hard to read
it,
because
yeah.
I've tried myself to even like understand it just to be more like cultured about it. and it's confusing because you look at it and then they have like these little kudlits that change it.
Mhm.
You're like, what the fuck? So like you said, who the fuck cares? But at the end of the day, you don't want to go home to the Philippines. You got like people who actually read it. They're like, why does that say
It says
tite?
ass. There's definitely a part of the Filipino community that's very, very, they very particular about it, and I've kind of
Sticklers.
encountered some people that like to gatekeep the tribal. I saw somebody post on a Facebook group like, don't get Filipino tribal tattoos if you're not Igorot. And it's like, damn, bro, that's like fucking 99% of the population.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, what the fuck?
let us have a little something, you know?
Yeah. You know, my friend, her brothers own this tattoo company. I forgot what it's called, but they do the traditional Filipino tribal tattoos, and they do it the traditional way with like the fucking.
Was it a spiritual journey or something?
No, it's in Tagalog. I forgot what it's called. They just have
okay.
this cool name, but I was actually thinking about getting a tattoo by them, but they're always so booked out, and I just never got to it because I was like, it'd be cool to get your own traditional, tribal tattoo in the traditional way, but I just never got around to it.
Ryback does it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Ryback does it. And as far as I know, last time I worked there, it was booked out like 3 months. So you should be able to.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not too
Because
bad.
these guys were booked years. It was crazy.
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
Because they
But
do a whole interview process. Like they tell you to email them. They're going to ask you these questions so they can tailor, like you said, each tattoo has a meaning. So they ask you things to incorporate it in the tattoo.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And I very much appreciate like people wanting to honor the culture, right? And that's definitely something that I aim to do with my shop and staff. But I have noticed like, and it's the same thing with American culture too, like the people that are just like fucking hyper spiritual hippie shit and like want to like, oh, everything is positive and wonderful, but they turn out to be fucking dicks, you know?
It's always those.
Yeah, it's always those,
mostly
man. They're
those,
like,
yeah.
I'm on a fucking different vibration frequency. Okay.
Vegan.
There's that vibration in your
Usually
asshole.
vegan, too. No offense.
They're like, you can't have my tattoos because you're not on the same vibration.
Oh, shut the fuck
No,
up.
I'm just like, nobody said that, but like that's
No, I know, but I'm
what
sure
I
there's
Is the ink vegan or what?
yeah.
There's
No.
vegan ink, right?
Is it grass-fed?
That's really a thing. Isn't there
Yeah.
vegan ink?
Some people, man, some people.
Oh, but I'm sure there's people out there that are like that. You can't. I don't want to do your tattoo. I don't like your vibes. Like,
Oh yeah,
shut the fuck up. Do it.
Your
Take my fucking
aura's
ink.
off. Let's
we've
do
had
this some other
clients
time.
like that. I had a client that when I was apprenticing under Ryback, she walked in, took her shoes off, started walking around, and then all out of nowhere, she's like, you know what? I don't think I want to do this anymore. And then like
Interesting.
texted my boss saying like,
I'm one with the shop.
sorry, my headset went out for a second.
You're good.
Okay.
Texted my boss like, I really just didn't like your apprentice's vibe. She just was really rude, and the laying of ink is much like the laying of hands, and it has to be the right type of environment. I'm like, bitch, you're getting a fucking like flower. I don't fucking know. I don't know. It's like, oh
Knowledge.
A letter, a number.
yeah, it was like it just. I don't know, man.
It's funny. So we're gonna go. I just want to, before we get off the tattoo thing, I want to get into Filipino stuff. But would you say, and how have you implemented your corporate experience or background into tattooing? Because that's got to be an advantage, right?
Yeah. I think it's I mean, if I could harness it, I think it might be it might be something that we could have an advantage. It'd be used as an advantage over competitors or something. But I think the biggest thing is when it comes to the relationship with staff, corporate, a little bit of corporate culture can be good, again,
Right.
in traditional apprenticeships, they're just like, you're the fucking worst apprentice I've ever had, you fucking bitch. Like, like literally, Ryback would say to me all the time, "You're the fucking worst apprentice I've ever had,"
Jeez.
and then fire me and then be like, "Yo, are you coming to work tomorrow?"
I'm a fan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm
you know
saying
what I'm saying? And so I think that helps because people are able to receive criticism better when you're not, just shitting on them. Also, when it comes to managing finances, just knowing Excel has saved so much time when it comes to doing my taxes. Just things like that. Yeah.
A lot of people claim to know Excel on their job applications, but
They just know Google Sheets. It's totally different.
No, my mom made it a point to teach me how to use Excel, so I'm very very thankful for that. It has saved me a lot of time.
nice.
Yeah, I see Excel being like something that people put on their resume.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go into being Filipino and Filipino culture.
I'm Microsoft Word efficient.
Paints.
I feel like the modern Filipino, well, at least like our parents, when it comes to tattoos, their attitude towards it is, oh, not under my house, right? Like, don't you can never get a tattoo. If you get a tattoo, we pretty much disown you. But it's not funny because it feels like the root of being Filipino, that they were like I don't want to really say like warrior culture, but their tribes had tattoos, right? Like most of the indigenous people from the Philippines, the chiefs and the higher tribal members, they would have tattoos, and it was kind of like the more tattoos and certain tattoos you had, the higher rank you were in the tribe, right?
Yeah.
Where did that start? Is that the Igorots, or what kind of Filipino people are that? If you know,
Prior to colonization, the Philippines was known. They were known as like the painted people. So tattoos were very, very prevalent prior to colonization. But eventually, it was taught to be like, oh, that's for the savages, and that's kind of where it started to be like not allowed and looked down upon. But yeah, tattooing was very prevalent, not just in Filipino culture prior to colonization, but in a lot of cultures. Tattooing and body modification has been a part of almost every single human civilization for hundreds and thousands of years. It wasn't until Western or European culture came in and was like, no, bad.
Yeah, that's interesting. And yeah, Ryback posted this picture that I'll never forget. It was, I think that some of the indigenous tribal people from the Philippines, they pulled out a mummy, and they mummified and they preserved this. I don't know if it was a chief, but they had the tattoos preserved still, which was fucking incredible. And I mean, for them to preserve the tattoos, the body for the tattoos, that's pretty significant, you know. It's like they don't do that with everyone.
Yeah, that's insane.
So that mummy, his name is Apo. Apo. Oh my god.
I know.
Apo. Yeah, Apo Ano. Yeah. And he was. They actually, I forgot which country took the mummy from the Philippines, but it wasn't until recent history that they returned the mummy to the Igorots. Yeah. But Filipinos had very efficient methods of preserving bodies, and actually up in the mountains, the burial ritual. When somebody dies, you have them sit on the dead body is like sitting on the front porch for people to view for like a couple days after they're dead.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. And sometimes they would put like the skulls of the heads that they cut off. They put it over their doorway.
I don't know much about. I'm Filipino and I'm proud to be Filipino, but I don't really know much about the culture pre like Spanish colonization.
Me neither, buddy.
Do you guys like? I would like.
I wish I knew more.
Yeah.
Lapu Lapu killed Magellan. Fuck that guy.
Jose Rizal, right?
So no,
really, really.
We had our indigenous warriors that obviously everyone knows by Lapu Lapu, and they were pretty much trying to stop the colonization from Spain. And obviously Magellan came through and Lapu-Lapu killed him.
Mhm.
So, and that's kind of where our Spanish roots came from and the whole colonization began. But before that, we were just indigenous tribes just trying to make our own way. I mean, that's why a lot of people like to say Filipinos, or like Filipinos like to identify as Pacific Islanders, but really it's not Pacific. We're not Pacific Islander.
we are.
We're
bro.
Asian. Shut up.
We're a mixture of so many different things. It's crazy.
I think it's all Asian, if you really want to put it. I mean, look, you got Cambodia and Malaysia like right below us, so why aren't they Pacific Islander?
What do you guys write on your standardized test then? Asian,
I just put
Pacific
Asian.
Islander, bro.
That's Asian. I just put Asian.
Just look at all of us, right? We're all Filipino and we all look different.
This is true. Yeah.
You know,
We're a mixture of Asia.
Yeah, and that's
That was a good
just a testament to the diversity of the Filipino people, because so many different cultures came through there and
Damn
helped us,
colonization.
basically.
Yeah.
Right.
But there's actually, you know, like you were saying, we're Filipino-Americans, and yet I think a lot of us have become, we're not aware of the Filipino history prior to colonization, or even sometimes after, because we don't learn about it in American school systems. You know, I had to really go out of my way to learn about Filipino history.
Yeah, well, if you listen you listen like American history, it's always like we saved them.
Oh yeah, I
We
didn't
saved
even,
the Philippines.
dude, I did not know that America and the Philippines went to war until I was older, and it blew my mind. I was like, what? I didn't learn about that, you know? I had no idea.
Yeah. But then, you know, like I said, you got the United States version of the history saying like, well, you know, we protect them and we
They were
save them.
savages with tattoos, worshiping
you
crazy
know-
gods.
We were actually we were actually a territory of the United States, just like initially Hawaii was, right? So Pearl Harbor, Hawaii was not the only place that was bombed during Pearl Harbor. The Philippines was also bombed. And if you look at the speech that the president was going to give at the time, they were going to mention that Manila was bombed as well. But he crossed it out because he thought that the American people wouldn't give a shit about it.
Damn, that's fucked.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, they probably wouldn't have.
No, honestly,
No,
they
they
wouldn't.
wouldn't have.
Because there was so many like negative sentiment already towards Japanese people, so they didn't give a fuck about Asians at that point. It was just like
No.
Yeah.
America.
And they would have just like the Native Americans, right? They were paraded around in like way back in the day. They were paraded around in these traveling zoos, right?
Right.
The Filipino children were there too.
Oh.
Filipino children, Filipino people were displayed in these traveling zoos.
I think I saw a picture of that one time. Yeah, there is like some colonizers just
Yeah, I've seen a traveling zoo
viewing
in the
them, and like
Filipinos.
they were just like in a fence or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know they involved Filipinos. I think they try to just involve anyone who looks like you're brown. You get in there.
You
You're
fucking
exotic.
savage.
Dude, I'm American.
I was born here.
My name is Andrew. I live
Well, you know,
in California.
That does bring up like an interesting point. I heard like in a different, I don't know, like a podcast once about, you know, like in South America, there was a presence of like Africans, and you know the Native Americans and people from Africa were, you know, having kids and shit, and so that's why a lot of times you see people from South America, like indigenously, sometimes they look like African, and then in the Philippines you have like the negritos, they call, you know, that's what they call them, right?
The Aitas.
Who, you know, they look
Aitas.
like the okay, yeah,
Yeah, they call
and you know
Aitas.
they have a lot
Yeah,
of the
Pat,
same.
relax. Dropping N-bombs on the podcast, dog. What the fuck? Relax.
Literally directly translate
Yeah,
to
but-
little black people.
Yeah, well,
There goes
I mean,
our
that's-
podcast.
yeah, but it's just a trip, dude. Like it's just crazy. So
No,
many
yeah.
like so far apart, and so many like similarities.
Yeah. There's a lot of African roots and a lot of cultures, and I think people don't realize that.
Yeah.
And I think that scares a lot of white people because they're like, "What about me? Do I have that?"
Oh,
Right.
there's
Makes me
always
think of
the
Pangea.
gosh. There's always the what about me? What about us?
Yeah.
God, it's
Yeah.
so frustrating.
No, but I mean,
I was
to any white listeners here, I don't think all of y'all are bad.
no, you're not all bad.
Yeah, you're not
Some
all
of you are
bad.
cool.
Yeah, a lot of you are cool, but also a lot of you are bad.
Yeah.
Some say
And you just-
humanity started in Africa. That's why
Yeah.
everyone has some sort of African in them. But
Mhm.
speaking of like not to single out white people, some say white people were like the higher beings, like the aliens. You know, that's why they look different. Because
they
I mean,
can't-
naturally, being humans in a planet where you're directly exposed to sun, like naturally you would adapt to be able to, you know, have
Survive.
melanin, right?
Mhm.
Some sort of melanin.
Whatever.
Which goes- which goes to my
I thought it
point.
was like,
Sun.
I feel like the it's crazy because it's looked down upon as far as the Filipino culture to like the
Be so
more
dark.
dark skinned you are, right? The more
Mhm.
lower class you are. But
Yeah.
I think now that we're talking about it, putting it together, that's probably like post colonization thinking to try to
Absolutely.
get rid of. Because I mean, if you think about it, indigenously, Filipinos were naturally like darker, right? Dark
yeah,
skin.
that's literally if it ain't white, it ain't right.
Yeah.
That's not what they show on
Absolutely.
TFC.
Absolutely a part of a result of colonism is colorism, and that's in
Exactly.
most places that were colonized. In
Yeah.
most of those cultures.
Yeah, like I
And,
got a
like-
cousin who walks around with an umbrella when it's sunny. I'm like, why are you
Mhm.
walking around with an umbrella? Fool? He's like, it ain't
Oh,
raining
yeah.
out
Wanna
here.
be you.
He's like, exactly. He's like, I don't want to
Definitely.
get dark like you. I was like, shut the fuck up.
No,
We're playing
I've
football
had
outside at the beach. He's trying to run in the shade. I was like, that's out of bounds.
You don't see that rain cloud right there? It's like one over there.
I've had family members tell me like, "Oh my God, you're getting too dark. Like you're gonna look like a maid." Like that's fucked
Yeah.
up.
Nah, that's fucked up.
What's wrong with the maid, man?
What?
That's what you call crab mentality, though, right? That's
Yeah.
part of the crab mentality that Filipinos have. It's
Like
pretty
the yaya is
annoying.
cool, man.
exactly. The yaya feeds me. Where you at,
Yeah,
mom?
exactly. I was in the Philippines when I was very, very little, and the yaya was like, it's. I was surprised because the yaya was like literally like spoon feeding me. I was like, I can eat by myself, and they're like, no, like they like do all that shit for you. I was like,
You know why? Because she don't want to do the trash. She's like, no, I'm gonna feed you. I don't want to fucking do laundry right now.
She just want to do the other shit.
That's fucking funny.
Shut up. I gotta wash your dad's underwear. I'm trying
No,
to
you eat now. You eat now.
but we just ate.
You know what I was talking to. I was talking to my mom about this recently. Is some of the cultural differences between Filipinos and Americans, specifically white people. Like one of the examples that I thought of in my head was sitting when you're driving and nobody sits in the front with you. Like to me, when I grew up, that was like that's fucking rude. Like my dad would curse at me if he was driving my friends and nobody sat in the front with him. He's like, I'm not your fucking driver.
Mhm.
Dad, I'm 6.
Yeah. Like if me and my boyfriend get in the car, he's like, somebody better sit up here with me. And like, so that's how I grew up, right? So I was driving a couple of my white friends and they both sat in the back. I'm like, yo, like, is somebody going to sit up here? And they're like, no, I'm going to sit with my girl in the back. And I'm like, no,
That's weird.
that's fucking rude, dude. Like somebody sit up here, like for real. Like I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
And they just did it. But it's because they don't know, you know, like to us that's rude, but to them, like it's okay, you know.
Why call
Yeah, that's
shotgun
just
if you go sit in
culture.
the back?
Yeah.
Shotgun going in the back.
Yeah, so my dad, when my friends would come over back in high school, sometimes, you know, my friends are cool and they're friendly, and I've been friends with them for years. I'm still friends with them right now, but we used to fucking smoke weed, so sometimes we'll be paranoid, you know what I mean? And Filipino dads give off, you guys know, there's a signature energy fucking Filipinos dad give off.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially when, you know, they have a certain kind of tick, like somebody better sit in front of the car with me.
Yeah.
For him, it was like somebody like if you're in my house, you better say hi to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the mixture of my friends being high paranoid because we fucking just smoked in the back, you know what I mean? Coming in and my dad putting it out there that he's anticipating somebody to say hi. That's awkward and intimidating. So my friends would just, put their head down and just walk by, which would piss my dad off. My dad would be like, disrespectful.
Speaking from experience of walking into Jarrell's house and seeing his dad, I'd be like, hi, Tito. And I'd expect him to say, I know.
Make sure you manong them,
Yeah, I would see his dad. I'm like, hi, Tito. He was like, I know. I was like, I would wait for it. I was like, oh, we're cool.
I mean, that's true. Like, if I had kids and one of their friends walked into my house, I'd be like, you shouldn't hang out with that kid anymore, and if they didn't say hi to me.
Yeah.
No respect. But maybe it's a cultural thing. That was one thing that my dad drilled in me too, is when you walk in the room, you say hi to all of the titas and titos first, and then you go say hi to your cousins.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's common knowledge, but it's the intense expectation of it. You know what I mean? That I feel like talking about vibes and that spiritual lady, I feel like some people pick up, you know what I mean? Especially, I don't know, people say you're a little more sensitive when you're high, a little more spiritually sensitive. So
there's also trauma having to go say hi to all titas and titos because they're going to come say, hey, you gained weight.
Oh my God. What happened to your face? Why do you have so many pimples?
Got girlfriend or boyfriend?
You virgin still? Dad, Tito, I have 3 kids.
Dude, my grandma would be like, why do you have so many pimples? Are you in love? Like, what?
Yeah.
What the fuck does that mean? No. I'm growing up. I'm stressed.
Life is
Yeah,
hard.
bills.
So what is that? Why is pimple? Do you guys know the origin of pimples being linked to falling in love? Is it because you stress out about
maybe?
Shit yeah, you know what I mean.
In the Philippines, Philippines are very lovey. Like all their teleseries. I'll see what my parents are watching. I was like, God, it's another episode. She's got amnesia again. It's a different show. She lost her memory, but she remembers she loves that guy. I don't know. Love is huge in the Philippines, and it's. Maybe they direct everything to, pimples. Who are you thinking about, huh? That pimple's so big. I was actually trying not to think about it, but you said something. So, I got one right here.
I remember my mom told me too, like, how sometimes you get those white lines in your nails?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she told me before, like, if you have that, it means you're in love.
Everything's in love, huh?
Makes no sense.
I just hit my finger in the door, dude.
Yeah.
If you you're in love. It's like, what do you want to do? Not take a shit anymore?
You're holding it in during the family party.
No.
Oh God.
What's that smell?
Oh man.
Damn.
It smells like love. Love is in the air. No, it's in my ass.
Came out.
It's crazy though, because sometimes the little folklore stuff that Filipinos say, sometimes that is true though, Like I rolled my ankle once, and instead of fucking going to the doctors or physical therapist, we went to one of my dad's coworkers who was like a healer or some shit, bro.
Like holistic healer.
Oh,
yeah, and I was like, I had to like park fucking a few miles down this sketchy ass neighborhood and had to like walk with my crutches,
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, let me see. And he just tested my range of motion on my ankles and had me roll my ankle use my foot to roll this like warm bottle that's supposed to like lower my inflammation. But he's like, you'll feel better now. I'm just like, I don't think it really worked, bro.
Sure. Dude, did your parents ever? Well, my mom told me on like every Easter, she's like, you gotta jump Like, why?
Yeah.
Oh,
On New Year's.
you'll grow.
You get
Like,
taller.
Yeah, New Year's, yeah.
No, New
For New
Year's.
Year's, yeah.
Yeah,
And you always
know,
see your short Tito really jumping his ass off. It's like, I think it's over for you.
He's got
Tito boy, it's over.
there's
Oh,
actually this
shit.
book. It's called The Way of the Ancient Healer. It's by Virgil. I forgot his last name, but Virgil. It's a book about ancient healing practices in the Philippines. It's very interesting. They have some parts on also Filipino weapons and stuff like that, and Filipino
crazy.
culture in general.
You guys ever
But,
grow up
you
with
know-
like your dad's telling you like weird old Filipino things? Like my dad, he would always say like, you know, you don't go to bed right after you shower. I was like, why? Because when your hair's wet, you'll go blind. I was like, what? And then,
Right.
yeah, like my dad would say like in the Philippines, that's what they would say. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What do you mean? You go blind if you go to sleep with your hair wet? So I mean, as a kid, I'd be like, I don't want to go to sleep. I'm trying to stay awake. Like,
Oh shit.
don't want to fall asleep.
My auntie used to tell us, don't make ugly faces because if the wind blows, you'll get stuck.
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah, I heard that one.
Yeah.
Yo, low key, I still think that's kind of true, man.
I think it happened to me because I don't know. I look in the mirror, I was like, I think the wind hit my face
Yeah.
at some point.
You know, I was trying to explain to my friend one time, like when you go into a Filipino household, right? You are very much expected to offer to clean. Not even just offer, like you clean,
Mhm.
right? You go to the sink and you do your own dishes, or you offer to clean up, stuff like that, right? But like the expectation is that you go to the house and you're like, oh, tita, like, what can I help you with? She's like, no, it's okay. And then you're like, no, let me help. And so both people are like, I need to offer, but I'm hoping that they say no. And then you're also like, I want them to offer and I'm going to say no, but I really actually want them to help.
Uh-huh.
And so you're just stuck in this battle of like, no, it's okay. Like, no, I'll do it.
Yo, it's more awkward when it comes to paying because it's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, you don't want to do it anymore.
But then you always got that sleazy cut, like uncle that's like hoping you're gonna pay, like, but he's gonna pretend halfway. He's like, "Are you sure? He just pulls his card away.
Oh, I left my wallet at home.
Yeah, you always leave it,
Oh,
Tito boy.
shit.
You always leave your wallet, don't you? But Casey actually dropped in on the chat on Twitch, and she said, "Talk about Filipinos and Vicks," and that's true.
I see that.
Vicks,
Oh, yeah.
Vicks is like the #1 healer in the Philippines. Like you're sick,
Snake oil.
put Vicks. Like they would put
To this day.
Vicks all over it. Like I remember my aunt, she couldn't sleep, and you know how strong Vicks are, right? Like it's just
Oh, hell
she
yeah.
would literally put it under her eyes so it would just keep her eyes
Oh, that's a
closed.
dude.
So I'd go in the room, I'd be like,
Because it hurts.
what's on my Tita Mirna's eyes? I thought like something was happening. And my mom's like, oh, she does it because she wants to go to sleep. I was like, what the fuck?
Dude, it's the same thing
I
with
have not heard of
Mexicans
that.
too.
The guys.
Yeah, Vicks is like powerful out there. It's like
That's funny.
it's Filipinos kryptonite to ailments.
It's weird, and my mom never really experienced that with Vicks with my family.
You're
Maybe
not
it's never
Filipino,
really-
then hop off.
All right, guys. See you later.
Let me see those tats again.
Yeah.
Let me get a cheese grater and take that off of you.
I'm actually Hawaiian.
Okay, Jasmine Trias.
Man, though, I remember like since growing up using Vicks, like
Yeah, man.
when you grow up later on, you see Vicks again usually at raves. So
Really?
people are like,
Really? What the fuck?
They
No,
smoke
no.
it.
Trying to go to sleep? They eating too
no,
much?
they have like these little like sticks and like menthol sticks, kind of, and they're like, "Hey, take this." You know what I mean? It's like, oh shit, you ain't telling me anything new, bro. Let me show you
Oh,
different
shit.
ways to use
This is, let me
outside of
show you the
rave,
way
you know
my
what I'm
people.
saying?
Oh my god! Once I had a roommate before. Rest in peace. He passed away recently, but he was trying to cook rice, and he was like looking at the directions on how much like water to put, like 3 cups. I'm like, no. This. You use your
Yeah.
finger. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, no, that's what the directions say. I have to. I'm like, no, stop. Just move aside. I'll do it. He
It
just did.
works.
He didn't believe me. Yeah, he like insisted on doing it his own way, and I'm like, your rice is gonna fucking suck.
Yeah, use your finger. You think our ancient people had this written on like scriptures on the wall somewhere?
That's such a good point.
What's your next tab? The Filipino directions. I like rice.
We didn't have the metrics.
tribal rice tattoo.
Yeah, you don't need anything. We fucking measure with our hands. We eat with our hands.
Everything.
Fucking wash our asses with our hands.
Yeah.
Fucking do
That was
everything.
weird.
Use your other hands, man.
I was born here, and then I remember going to the Philippines and living there as a kid for a little while. And I was like, where's the toilet paper? And there's a tabo. I was like, what the fuck? What do you do with this? And then I see him like have the hand. He's just like, I was like, what the
Where am I?
You just hear like water going down his asshole, and he's just like this, Jermaine, just like this. I was like, you ain't doing that to me, dog.
Oh, shit.
My
Hey, bro,
first
the
memory.
The tabo is the original bidet, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Can't argue
when your
the
bidet ain't
effectiveness of
working.
it.
yeah, no.
The bidet ain't working.
Yes. What else is there in the Philippines that was completely culture shock? Because, like I said, I was born out here.
The CR. Hey, where's the CR?
Yeah, someone.
Dog.
Yeah, like we would have guests over the house. It's like I remember someone like it's funny you said that. Someone came up to me and the guest was like, "Saan yung CR?" I was like, "The what? The bathroom? Like what is comfort room?" I was like, "What's the comfort room, Ma?" I think he's trying to touch me.
Just trying to get comfortable.
Yo, imagine being a Filipino that's super passive aggressive that really needs to go to the fucking bathroom. Where's the CR? What? The CR. Desperately trying to explain. He's gonna pee right now, dog.
And that's what's hard because there's a lot of Filipinos who are super nice. They like you're like what, and you're getting frustrated trying to communicate with them, but you can't be a dick because they're so nice. You're like, what the fuck are you saying?
Yeah, it's definitely it definitely boosts my empathy. You know what I mean, and my patience when I deal with another Filipino.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like I was gonna say, like you brought up the crab mentality. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody has their own experiences of Filipino being like the number one hater to you, or like the number one person in your way. And it's like, let's look out for each other. But that's kind of universal throughout all the cultures. Like there's black on black, Hispanics hate on each other, But on the flip side of that, there's the fucking, we talked about this on the podcast before, the Filipino discount. You know what I mean? So
Oh my god,
it's yin yang. You know what I mean? There's the hate, but at the same time, it's like if you're Filipino, and especially Filipinos our age, if you come across like in some kind of business setting, like a older generation of Filipinos, they end up becoming like your titas and your lolas. You know what I mean?
I'm not even gonna lie. I used that discount thing once and it worked.
Oh, for sure.
Hey man, you Filipino? What is a Filipino discount, bro? He's like, fine, I'll give it to you. He's like, yes, it fucking worked.
People ask me that all the time. Every time. So there's a Filipino Facebook group. It's called SoCal Pinoy.
I'm in there.
Oh, there you go. And every time I post about my tattoos, they'll hit me up and like, oh, Filipino discount. Okay, yeah. Can you give me? Oh, that's how much it is. Oh, you can't give me discount. I'm like, I have to now.
Bitch, I got bills.
Yeah.
No, you just say, "Oh, don't worry, I already put it in there."
Yeah.
It's
You got Filipino discounts?
That's why you always tell them, oh, it's usually this price, but right now it's only this. So
But really, you didn't change shit.
But
You're like,
for you-
yeah.
For you, I give discount just for you.
It's funny how they always expect that, and then they get mad when you say no. It's
Yeah.
like, what? You're not
Like,
going to support me now?
Bro, they like boycott, man. Like just like my dad thing. When my dad's at a restaurant and fucking the server forgets anything, oh, I'm never going back here. It's like, bro, this is the only restaurant of this this chain, and you love this restaurant. You're gonna come back, bro. We just need some time off, and this is a new server. You know what I mean?
Speaking
Oh,
of
man.
restaurants, my grandma has a Filipino restaurant in Chino. It's
okay.
called the Dancing Crabs. The food is really good, and you know it's good because she imported her cook from the Philippines. He lives with
shit.
them, so go check it out. The food
Nice.
is amazing, guys.
Now, if there's any
Dungeness
feds
crabs
listening, he
back.
has papers. He's legal. Don't do.
Yes.
This one's
The
legal.
feds are like, she just said we're going there. Can you guys
No,
find real?
she's petitioning him. It's all legal. She petitioned him.
You don't gotta explain to me. I don't care.
No, for the feds listening.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's what they're doing. Everything's by the book. You can go focus on real crime now.
They got, if you do go there, the crispy sisig it's fire. They also have crispy dinuguan, the kare-kare, and it's
My cholesterol just went up listening to that.
Oh. I'm only 27. I have high cholesterol. It's that Filipino genes, man. It's crazy.
We have a higher
I think we're the
tolerance for
real
that.
reason why they
Yeah, for
say
sure.
here for not.
I think we have a higher tolerance, straight up. I mean, especially if you grew up eating the traditional Filipino.
I can't
You know.
eat chicharron
yeah.
bulaklak. Have you seen that? My parents eat that like it's nothing. I'm
So
like, oh.
good.
It's pretty good, but I don't eat it too often. Probably like once every decade, to be honest.
I showed it to my white coworker before, and he was like, "It smells like dog treats."
Bitch, this is why
It
no
is
one likes
dog
you.
treats.
It's dog treats.
Oh, shit,
Cancel
those
your
are the
ass.
dog treats. These are the treats.
I'll try to cover up your food. Like, oh shit, I packed the wrong shit today. My bad.
I tried to feed my white friend dinuguan, and I was like, "Eat it first, and then I'll tell you what's in it afterwards."
That's what you always do when you introduce it to someone new. It's like, try it first.
And she like I didn't even tell her what was in it yet, and she literally like spit it out. I was like, "Oh,
No way.
mean." Yeah, she like spit it out. But I mean, it's like I
Dinuguan's
can't even-
pretty intimidating looking. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was chocolate
It's
rice,
just
huh?
black food.
That's
Chocolate rice.
That was
Yeah.
that. That's what my parents
What's
would say.
dinuguan mean?
Same.
Blood?
It's chocolate, Jermaine. Just eat it.
Oh, you're talking about champorado, bro?
I love champurrado. No, but
Chaparrado.
back then when I was a kid, my parents would feed me dinuguan, and I liked it anyways. They didn't have to tell me what it was. I would just eat it. But
That
they were like,
shit was
Jermaine, it's
fire,
chocolate rice. I was like, okay, whatever. It doesn't taste
even
like fucking
better.
chocolate. I was like, I know what chocolate tastes like, Mom.
You don't gotta lie to me, mom.
I'm already eating it, Mom. You don't gotta lie to me.
It's
Yo.
it's actually really good. I love dinuguan. That's my boyfriend is white. That's his favorite.
Oh,
So I was like, all right, I'll keep you.
feed him balut and see what he's really about.
Oh, he
Balut
tried
did a
balut.
good
He grew
guy.
up in Maui, so he tried balut, and he was like, I didn't really like it, but my auntie, who's Filipino auntie, was giving it to me. I couldn't say no, so I was like, yeah, let me have another.
You guys eat the whole balut or what?
Everything.
Yeah?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I used to eat all of it, but lately I just eat the.
I had a weird experience one time when I chewed
The
it. So I was
yolk?
like, that's the beak.
Oh, I had a beak once. Yeah, it was. Ugh.
I just don't like the white part.
The
It's
soup's
only good when you're drinking beer, though. Obviously, you know that's originally how they would eat it. They would just have it with their red horse. So
Balut
I
then.
would, yeah,
Mm.
exactly. I would
Same with
have it
ugly
beer.
girls, though. Only good with beer, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you see that crispy pato over there? Yes.
Have you guys experienced that thing where your uncles, you're drinking with them, and they tell you, do you see the turtle or some shit in the logo on the red horse? And you're like looking at it, and you're like, no, I don't see it. They're like, okay, have another. That you just need to have another look. And then you drink another, and you're like, do you see it yet? Do you see it? And so my uncle was doing that to me, and like I forgot who else was. It was somebody in my family, and they're like, Monique, stop! Like it's not there. That's just how they get you to drink more. So you get drunk enough to when you'll see it because it's not really there.
Tito's looking like right through you. He doesn't even see
You do that in the Philippines, okay. You do that in America, it's predatory. It's like, oh, did you try to make her drink some more?
Oh man!
But there's a saying, right? When you get super, super drunk on the red horse, it's like sinipaan ng red horse or whatever. Because I would have an uncle in the Philippines.
Caballo.
Yeah, something like that. And like it would just be my uncle. He would have like 4. And next thing
Damn.
he was on the ground just passed
Yeah.
out. And I'm like,
Red horse is so strong. Shit.
we would let him just sleep outside because he doesn't want to move. It's like, fine, you sleep outside. There's a fucking rain. There's a bagyo coming, fool, and you want to stay there? Fine.
Hey, we sell Red Horse at the Dancing Crabs at my grandma's restaurant. So Red
Nice.
Horse and I think it was San Miguel or something.
Ooh.
So we sell that there.
Nice light.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah,
gee.
I mean, I used to have a restaurant in Mission Viejo, and we
Ooh.
would have like karaoke nights on Saturday. It's lit. It's fun because I like
That's a
watching
genius
old,
move.
yeah, I love watching old Filipinos just stand there and sing their hearts out. And you could tell who has their heart broken because he's giving it
Aw.
all. And I'm like, I feel for this guy, and I would give him a beer, like, It's all right, man.
Or he doesn't
right.
sit. He's just in line the whole fucking time trying to get the mic.
There's karaoke at the Dancing Crabs too. So
Nice. Yeah, I feel like that's if the Filipino restaurant doesn't have karaoke, it ain't legit.
yeah.
Yeah, karaoke's fun, man. I don't know if I'm.
fun.
That's because I'm Filipino, you know.
It's fun. And then we were next to an Irish bar. So
Genius.
drunk white people come over and they'll do karaoke, and then you see Filipinos getting super competitive when a white guy comes in. Completely. Like I remember we had a white guy who came in and sang "Sweet Caroline," right? I was like, how white can this guy sing? So when he sung it, and it was fire. I was like, damn, this guy's good. And this guy came on and he sang "Journey." I was like, hey, are you sure you can do this song? He's like, yeah. And he downed his red horse. Like, no joke, he downed his red horse. I was like watching him. And he's like, all right, put this one on. And I put on this Journey song. And it was, it was one of like the famous ones. And I was just standing there. I was like, holy shit. I think he's going to do really good. He's going to bomb the fuck out of this song. And the moment he sang that first line, I was like, dude, he fucking sounds. And everyone was going wild. I was like, yes, this is awesome. But
Dude,
he got super competitive. I was like, damn.
My pops was telling a story about how like in the Philippines they get competitive, right? And if you steal their song, they get really upset. And he was like, they will literally fight you in the parking lot for stealing their song.
God damn.
Boy, I got 99 on Magic Sing, huh?
For real though, my dad has like a set list when it comes to fucking karaoke. You know what I mean? So.
It's like an actual performance. It's not karaoke anymore. It's like, this is my song.
Yeah, I have a set list. If I know I'm going to go do karaoke with my friends, I'm practicing in the car. I'm practicing all week. I'm getting my voice warmed up. Yeah. I'm ready to go.
It's funny.
But it's always funny like how the songs they love to sing are ballads, you know? It's like, who hurt you?
I know.
Who hurt you, man? Like, what's going on? Like, I'm more interested in the story. It's like, what happened to this guy? And I'll go ask my mom, what happened to Tito Boy?
Like the sound is all the same too. It's like that slow build up with the in the morning I wake up.
Bakit ngayon ka lang?
Oh my god, yes.
That's on my list.
So actually for my family, part of our other business, we produce a bunch of Filipino concerts. Mm-hmm. So we always get like a bunch of artists on. We got like big artists that perform, and our opening acts are always like, you know, just people who are trying to make their break. And every time I look at their set list, I'm like, damn, this is straight like, hear me, please hear me. Like, no, these are songs like this guy's singing Adele and he's crushing it. But I'm like, who broke this guy's heart, man? Oh shit. Like he kills that shit.
Adele is hard, man.
No, yeah, and he came on.
I'm trying to sing that sometimes, and it's difficult. But if I'm drunk enough, I'll think I can do it.
The biggest scam for me as far as Filipino food was fucking champorado, man.
I love champorado. What are you talking about?
I love chocolate, and they advertise it as fucking chocolate rice. So I was expecting sweet, bro. My mom's like, "Oh, it's chocolate rice." Bro, I don't care how much condensed milk you fucking put in that shit. That does not taste like Nutella rice, bro.
Condensed milk and sugar, and then you're just off the wire all day. You're just,
bro. I had trust issues with my mom ever since. I was like, that ain't fucking chocolate rice, mom.
You know your mom looking down at you right now, laughing her ass off. She's like, "Ha ha, got him."
It's still good.
I haven't had champorado in a long time. I think since I was little.
It's crazy how also that's a lot of Filipino culture very meshes well a lot with Hispanic cultures because there's a lot of similarities in that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, we both got fucked by the Spanish. That's why.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Pat, how do you feel? You're like a combo of the two sides.
Yeah. So
is it? Let me guess. Is it your dad was Spanish and found a beautiful Filipino woman from the islands?
No, it's the opposite. My dad's from Manila. My mom's from Mexico. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, you still look Filipino then.
Yeah.
It looks the same.
Yeah, you should see his family during family get-togethers. It's like, y'all related?
Right. But yeah, there are for sure a lot of similarities. I mean, well, there's like an adobo version in, Hispanic culture that it's just the same name. It's totally different though. Like it's more of like a seasoning, and adobo in Filipino culture is the the soy sauce, garlic, vinegar, and all that.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, there's for sure a lot of similarities. I mean, my dad, he can speak Spanish pretty well.
I just found out there's a champorado in his Hispanic culture.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Can you imagine how awkward it is for like being a Filipino like Hispanic household during the Pacquiao prime days when he was knocking down all these like, you go to your Hispanic family side, it's like, go home, fool. It's like, yeah, I'm just trying to come over.
Oh yeah, when Pacquiao would fight, they'd always ask me like if he's fighting whichever Mexican fighters, they'd always be like, "Oh, so who are you going for this time?"
Go for this time. You went for Manny last time.
Pacquiao's on fire. You're like, I gotta go with Manny this time.
Pinche puto.
Hey, how was did you guys watch the Marquez fight together when Pacquiao got knocked out?
Oh, I saw that. That shit was wild. I was like,
I'm pretty.
That
I
was
mean,
fucking wild.
I'm sure I saw it, but it was those two sides have been separated for a while. So,
Man, I just recalling back to the Manny Pacquiao days on the come up. Those were fucking Filipino events, bro.
those are
Yes.
Filipino pride events.
I don't
bro.
think
Oh my
like
God.
till this day, no matter how big fighting is right now, I don't think. I mean, as far as culturally for us, I don't think anything tops like the Manny Pacquiao days on the come up when he was
No.
knocking everybody out, bro. I'd look
Nothing.
around, fucking ants. My mom would be on the couch jumping, you know, like little kids up on the stairs. Like,
It was so loud. It was
Yes.
so loud. Like
It
the
was
uncles
crazy
are
how-
screaming like, ah, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy how hyped they get and nothing happened. It's like they just rung the bell. Like, ah! Nothing happened. They just sang the national anthem.
The aunties don't even know what's going on. They're like, punch him in the face, punch him in the face.
He's trying, Tita. I
he's
swear.
cheating. He's cheating. Look.
Why is he doing that? Why? He's hugging him. He's hugging him.
They're friends. They're friends, Mom.
It's funny because you know sometimes there'd be like that one Hispanic guest who knows boxing, and as
Yeah.
soon as fucking Pacquiao starts fucking him up, he's like all quiet, and like the aunts or uncles that don't really know him are like screaming in their faces and shit.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine like in the Marquez fight, it'd be the opposite, you know, like the minority would be like, ah, what's up?
right.
Funny. But like I said,
in that fight?
what's up?
Didn't
He
he
was,
cheat in that fight? I thought it wasn't that when he did something
So,
with his gloves? Marquez.
So what happened there, Marquez, he hired Angel Heredia, who was already like a convicted doper. Like he would dope a lot of Olympic athletes, and he was caught. And he's actually very open about it. If you go on YouTube, he posts videos of how to do it and like cheat the system. And that's why when he signed on, everyone's like, "What the fuck is going on with this guy?" And Marquez got huge at like 45. This guy has like the nicest, like Marquez ain't even looked like that his whole career, and he looked like that all of a sudden. And then everyone was just pointing out how like he had so much acne on his back during that fight, and those were all telltale signs. But they didn't do any extensive testing because Manny was like, "It's fine."
He's like, I got it. Oh
Yeah.
no, I was thinking about Margarito.
Oh, Margarito's with
when he
Cotto.
plastered his gloves, right?
Yeah, against Miguel Cotto, and then Miguel Cotto.
okay.
That's why Miguel Cotto's face was all fucked up, and then Pacquiao fought Cotto when Cotto was trying to come back, and then Pacquiao legitimately beat him without plastered gloves. Pacquiao fought Margarito, and then Cotto was so happy. He's like, "Yeah, that's what you're supposed to look like."
Pacquiao
shit.
fucked up Margarito though. That
Yeah.
was also peak Filipino event.
Yeah,
How
at
did,
the
how
Dallas
did you
Stadium.
how did you guys feel when you watched the Pacquiao Mayweather fight?
I was a
I
Mayweather
expected
fan, so
Ah.
I knew how it was gonna go.
Yeah,
It was more just standing there and taking all the he hit him. He hit him.
I mean, I guess like if you watch boxing, you kind of you. I was hoping Pacquiao would shock everyone and just do it because that'd be wild,
Yeah.
right? Because this is Pacquiao we've been waiting for as fans in his peak years, and you know all the talk about Floyd ducking him, and then finally here's the fight. And then when I saw the first couple rounds, I was like, I see how Floyd's gonna fight this, you know, and it's just like he's gonna be a tactical fight. He's just gonna be it's gonna be all calculated, and he's gonna win on the points. And I think it was like the fourth round when Manny actually landed like a strong left, and
Yeah.
you see Floyd's face like, what the fuck? And that's when Floyd was like, got to stick to the game plan. And so after that, it was Floyd won. And like, I remember after the fight, I had so much fans like, no, you know, Pacquiao hit him in the fourth. I was like, that's the fourth round. There was 12 rounds.
Before the fight, I hurt my shoulder.
And
Because
I wish he didn't say that, to be honest. I was like, don't say that, man. Just don't say it. Like, I get it. If it really did hurt, just don't say anything. Because now we're going to hear Floyd, and rightfully so. Floyd said so. It's like, man, that guy want to come with excuses.
I love Floyd because what Floyd said going into the fight, I also had injuries. Just negates it.
Yeah, that's why it's just like, well,
I was in Vegas that night, and it was funny because after the fight, I was excited. We were gonna go to the club and shit, and I was a Mayweather fan, so I was like, I was
lame.
my whole attitude that night was, I told you, you know what I'm saying? But seeing people, like you'd see people that just left the event because they'd have the Pacquiao shirts.
yeah.
Some of them had the Mayweather shirts, but seeing black people go up to Filipinos, they're obviously mad. And be like, hey, did you see the fight?
Oh my
I think though, I
Kind of
think,
instigating, you know?
Up, man.
I think if you would have fought him before Marquez knocked him out, it would have been a different like fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
Because
he
after
wouldn't
he got
take the
knocked
drug
out by-
test.
But after he got knocked out by what's it called? By Marquez, you could see like he kind of softened up his fight. He wasn't really engaging too much. He was kind of waiting for that one shot a lot. But he still had it in the tank. It's just like he changed.
Yeah.
I can't blame him though, because imagine getting hit like that. I'm like, yeah,
Bro. And it wasn't even just like he literally like
went to
was
sleep.
going forward straight into that punch. Like,
Walked into that one, yeah.
yeah, that just the fucking impact on that. Imagine
crazy
you're
thing
going
was-
forward and that punch
Yeah.
is already super.
Yeah,
It's like the perfect collision, you know?
Yeah.
yeah. But the crazy part, he was winning that shit. You know?
Yeah, he was. He
Fucking
was
him up.
fucking him up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Marquez was like, no, roid rage.
Bro, I thought he died.
No,
That was
yeah, when he
scary.
knocked out, I was like, oh shit. Oh shit.
And they
Yeah.
pan to his wife's face and she's just like with the
Yeah.
rosary and shit.
And then his mom sang
His
all these
mom with the
weird
rosary.
spells. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck
His
you.
mom was like in astral form already, like looking for it.
You know what? You know
Looking
what
for
I
a spirit.
don't. You know what I don't appreciate about the what's going on right now with boxing is these like exhibition fights with celebrities. I feel like it cheapens the sport.
Oh,
my
definitely does.
God.
I mean, but Floyd is enough. I mean, Floyd knows how to make money. I'm not going to take that
Oh,
away
yeah.
from him.
Floyd
He knows how to make
should be the only one doing it. I hate these YouTubers that are coming out.
Oh.
Manny's doing it. He's got a fight in this month.
Manny Pacquiao?
Oh, but
Yeah, he's doing an exhibition fight with some Korean mixed martial artists, and it's all
That's
for
cool.
charity.
No, that's
Yeah.
cool.
so Jake Paul, right? Jake Paul's the YouTuber
Mhm.
that you're referring to.
No, I'm
Awesome.
referring to this dude. I don't know his name. Slim?
KSI.
Slim? I want to fight that guy, bro. I want to get the only reason I want to get big is because right now, yeah, like this YouTube fighting league is a good stage for up and coming fighters to just bypass the UFC or bypass
Yeah.
boxing. And hey, they make a little bit more money than the average up and comers. You know what I mean? But the confidence of like these fucking YouTubers is like, bro.
Some shit. I've never liked that about like certain fighters that are just really arrogant. It's never appealed to me. I don't understand why it appeals to certain people. I'm like, you just sound like a jackass, and I feel it cheapens martial arts because that's not what martial arts is about. But like with Jake Paul, right? When he started getting into it, I'm like, oh fuck, I hope he gets knocked out. But I heard that he's gonna fight Andrew Tate, and this is like the one time that I hope he fucking wins.
Oh,
Fucking
you know, a lot of times though, when it comes to fighters and they're being complete dickheads, a lot of times they're just trying to sell a fight. You know?
Yeah.
Um,
100%.
But
I'm
I think
sure
Jake
there's a lot
Paul.
of it,
I think
yeah.
Jake Paul believes this shit though, or I might
Oh.
just be buying into it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I think he actually really like does want to get into it, and he took that bypass ticket being a celebrity for sure. But he's definitely gonna have to earn his. It's gonna take him a while to earn respect from the martial arts community, I think.
It's easy to hate him because he's a YouTuber and the persona he has. But if you step
Yeah.
back from it, he's doing it the right way as far as
I
the
mean-
person who paved their own way
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
bypassed, all the fucking
Which also tells kids if
muggers
you
out
have
there.
money, you could do it like him.
Yeah.
No, but I think
He's winning too. That's the important thing.
Yeah, he's winning.
he's winning, but I want
I
to
hope
fight
so.
a real boxer, like someone who actually boxes, not these guys.
But they're
who-
still dangerous fights, though.
Bro,
I mean,
like the
if
thing
they're
about
not- If
yeah,
there's no cap, it's still a dangerous fight.
the
I
thing
hope
about
he knocks
Mayweather
the
was
fuck out of Andrew Tate.
people say he's running people and all this, but at the end of the day, if you look at his resume, when all these fighters are like 50 years old, retired, it's
Yeah.
fucking phenomenal, man. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And just like Jake Paul, even if he doesn't box anymore, like his resume at the end of the day, 50 years from now, pretty phenomenal.
Yeah,
Knocked out
no, they're-
Tyron
they're-
Woodley, Anderson Silva.
Nate Robinson.
I mean, I probably would I'd keep it to 3, you know what I mean? Like click more,
Yeah.
they see the rest.
Nate Robinson.
Ben Askren.
Oh my god.
Mm.
But yeah, I think with this comes like, there's the what's his name? You fucking Fousey tube boxed,
Yeah.
I do like to tie this all with being Filipino. You guys know Salt Poppy?
Yes.
Bro,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
is
yeah.
killing the game right now. I think he could probably beat Jake Paul, man.
He could box actually. That's
I
the
think
thing.
they're sleeping on him.
The guy
because-
that does the fucking salt thing?
No.
Yeah.
He's this Filipino guy going by Salt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about the guy that throws salt
No,
in food. Okay.
Salt Bay.
Oh, okay. There we go.
There you go. It's confusing, but no. At first, I thought Salt Poppy was the same guy. I was like, "This guy's fighting. I want to watch this guy."
I know. I was like, damn.
No, it's the Filipino guy. And he's doing like these YouTube fighting. Like, I forgot who he fought last, but
he fought some random YouTuber,
yeah.
I think.
and so
But
now
he-
they're trying to
he
pit him
popped
with
off.
KSI or whatever. Is that how you say his name? KSI.
He started popping off a dance, though, right? Originally?
Yeah,
it?
so he started doing like TikTok dances, and I think he did like this bit with Salt Bay's thing, where he does the salt thing.
Oh, explain.
So he
that.
kind of took that, and then his name ended up becoming Salt Poppy. But he blew up doing like these fake running videos, and then from there he did TikTok dances to like little bits. But see, like that paved the way for him to be on these cards. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, for sure.
it's crazy. It's a new era that we're in, and
Yeah.
it's definitely leaning towards more the social media side. And I said this on the podcast earlier. I think clout is starting to become like a social credit now. You know what I mean? Like you could buy a lot of things. Some places you can have your whole trip paid off because of like your
Your social
followers or your social media presence. I mean, some places still look down on that, but I can't hate it because there's a way for like anybody now to get into it. You know what I mean? But there are some cringe characters currently dominating the scene of influencer boxing, I guess.
But that's just like the world we're in now, like these weird motherfuckers are coming up and people with skill and hard work is being overlooked.
And it's like that with tattooing too, going back to that where you could have fucking 500,000 followers and
Yeah.
somebody that's really, really good to have like 500,
Right.
And again, there's pros and cons because it's more accessible to people. And even if there's a lot of gatekeeping in whatever industry it is, but then also with tattooing in particular, you saturate the market or oversaturate the market. But that also increases it makes it more competitive, and I think drives up the quality of the work overall
Right.
because you have to be really, really good to set yourself apart.
Yeah, I feel like that's like a byproduct of competition that people are so competitive, they get caught up in the competitive side of it, but they don't start to see the fact that it does elevate. Because you see that with anything. Like whenever there's two companies going at it, it benefits the consumer,
Right, or like rap
Capitalism.
and shit like that.
Yeah, like rap. When people are beefing, that's usually when the best shit's coming out.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's true.
But fuck, Slim, I want to fight you, bro.
Hey, yo, Slim. I've been right here.
I want
You
to
ain't
fight
calling.
you, bro.
Live stream it.
Let's get it together, man. Let's do the Jake Paul, Andrew Tate undercard. I want Sneeko and
But you got to
Slim,
fight with
bro.
the mask on.
Bro, I'll fight blindfolded, dog. Just let me get a spot in that card.
Be safe about it, you know? This shit can be dangerous.
All right, how about this? Let's go through the chat, and if you guys, let's say we're on a card, who would be your celebrity opponent?
Oh God, Ariana Grande.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I don't know why she annoys the shit. I can't understand what the fuck she's saying in her songs. There's all consonants, all vowels, no consonants.
That's
I
true.
don't know what the fuck she's saying in there.
Yeah.
What about you, Andrew?
You'd fuck her up. That's not even fair.
I
Bro.
need time to think. I'm such a nice guy. I don't know who I want to fucking beat up. Get back to me. Give me. I'm thinking right now. Who do I want?
I'd go for Bobby Lee just because I love that guy. And I just want to beat him, and I know I'll win. I'm just kidding.
That would be fucking funny.
Bobby Lee.
Have you watched his podcast?
Oh yeah,
I only see clips.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of it. But I mean, that guy's funny overall. Like, he's kind of underrated in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. He was on Logan Paul's podcast
Recently, right?
Yeah. It was. I saw some clips. It was funny.
He's kind of getting like a second win of fame right now.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah. He was in one of the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, he's been sober for a while, right? But then he relapsed when his dad passed, like a couple years ago. I mean, he's good now, but I saw him in a Happy Madison movie, a Netflix original. So that was cool. It was a small role, but like Jarrell said, he's starting to get a second wind.
Mm-hmm.
He was in The Wrong Missy. Have you guys seen that movie?
I'm pretty sure that's the Happy Madison one with David Spade.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That movie's great. I've watched it like fucking 5 times.
Shit's so funny.
It's so hilarious. I don't like rewatching movies, but I can rewatch that movie over and over again.
I know who I want to fight. I want to fight. Who's the Filipino guy from Blue's Clues?
I think his name was like Josh something.
Damn, he knew. It took him time, but he knew exactly who he wanted to smoke with. Fuck yeah. Who is that fool? I got your back, Andrew.
Yeah. Let's box.
We all gotta fight each of the Blues Clues hosts. I take what you take. I got you.
I got Steve's back though. I got Steve's back, but that other jabroni, let's do it,
bro. Fuck. I was like a lot. Okay, so 3 names come to my head. I would fight Justin Bieber. I think that'd be fun. It's like just because he's been so annoying. Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is a good one.
And Ronnie from Jersey Shore. Just because we were kind of just binge watching Jersey Shore because we had it because we just moved to our place, so we've been unboxing shit, and we just had it going on. I was like, dude, Ronnie's so fucking annoying. I want to fight that guy.
It's a great card, low key.
I'll take all of them in one night. Let's go.
Yeah, you probably have to main that. That Ariana Grande is definitely the marquee name of that night.
There you go. Because it's going to be a concert after. Because if she beats you, then she's got to sing "Thank You" next.
Oh, damn!
I don't know because she's so little though. Like we definitely want to be the same weight class. So maybe Nicki Minaj.
I mean,
kind of annoys me.
This fool wants to fight Bobby Lee, bro.
Dude, I love Bobby Lee. It would just be a way for me to meet that guy. I wouldn't beat him too bad though.
It's funny.
I think Jarrell should fight Mark Zuckerberg.
Low key, he kind of scares me, bro. I don't think he's human. Imagine you catch him with a good punch and you break your hand, and he's all good.
Metal skeleton.
Joel Osteen. I'll box the shit out of Joel Osteen.
Oh man,
the world's #1 scammer.
That would be a good person to fight.
I'd fight Gavin Newsom. Fuck that. Let's go, Gavin.
My state, bro.
You know, I would actually like to fight Donald Trump Jr.
Oh man,
Oh yeah, that was cute.
Say some crazy shit again. Let's go.
I wouldn't fight this person. I would just run them over. Andrew Tate. I would just fucking run him over. I don't even want to fight him.
Wow,
Tate.
there's a lot of hate there, huh?
It's just like sometimes like his interviews
Andrew
pop up
Tate.
on my Facebook and like it, and then I'll watch through it. I'm getting all hyped up at like fucking 3 a.m. Wake up my boyfriend. Do you fucking hear this shit? And he's like, dude, like, why are you watching it if it's just gonna piss you off?
It's working. It's working.
He's
Yeah.
back too. It came back, so that
Yeah.
that doesn't help your cause.
I think PQ
No.
should fight Alex Jones.
Oh shit!
PQ and Alex Jones would be a good one. That way, you could, it'd be tag team between PQ and Bobby Lee against Alex Jones.
I'd be down
great.
for that. Do it Capcom versus
should
Marvel
fight,
style.
Yeah.
I would call out
3-on-3.
Brendan Shaw, but I think Brendan Shaw would fuck me up.
Who would be in
So-
Alex Jones' corner?
Shit, me.
The lawyers of his lawsuit, but he filed bankruptcy.
Damn. That'd be nuts, though. I'd be down for that. Would you guys take a fight if someone called you guys out?
Well, who's calling me out?
Depends who's calling.
Yeah, I
Well, if they're not
fucking
like a pro
Brandon
fighter,
Mantle.
maybe.
Let's say these people heard.
If it's
They're
fucking
like,
Canelo, I'd be like, nah,
Hey
dog.
Andrew, it's the dude from Blue's Clues. Where you
Cyborg
at, bro?
shit.
Oh, yeah, if it's the dude from Blue's Clues right now, I might just I'll train for it. I think it'll be a pretty equal fight. I'll train for it.
It's fucking funny.
He whoops your ass. I'm like, oh, shit.
Yo, right?
Fair and square.
Oh,
In
no.
his corner.
That's funny.
That'd be the upset of the evening.
Josh from Blue's Clues.
I'd be like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Andrew. I've actually put money on him. The odds are too good.
Yeah, right. Like, hey man, look, I put money on the other guy.
I hope you win, though, but, you know.
What's in your corner?
So this is the main question, though: is do you get time to prepare, or you gotta just
Oh,
like,
no.
are you ready to go?
That's a Batman question, huh?
Yeah.
Uh,
Like if somebody calls you out, do I get like a good 6 weeks fight camp?
Damn, I think that depends on who. I feel like if I were to fight someone like Jake Paul, then I would need a full training camp because he's legit. But if it's hard now though, because like the thing about these influencers doing this, they have all the access to the best coaches, you know,
Oh yeah.
and
Oh,
the coaches behind them, like, dude, you know how much pressure it is on Jake Paul's coaches to go out there and make sure that Jake Paul performs. Like that ups their brand too, you know. So yeah, it's a good question because if it's like I think you could take Ariana Grande with
She
no
comes
day
she comes
notice.
back like a fucking 150, all beefed up.
damn. He's
Takes out
really
her-
grande now.
Takes off her leather jacket. She's like, "Yo, want it, young Jay?" Shit. Like,
Probably
Now
at, like,
you know why they
115.
call me Ariana Grande.
yeah.
Yeah, see that's
Her nickname's
that's,
Extra. Ariana Extra Grande.
Like stuff from Taco Bell.
Nachos.
it depends. Like what's the setting? Like is it gonna be like what kind of rules are there? You know, there's so like is it just gonna be a street brawl? Like we're walking down the street and fucking Ariana Grande calls me out, like, you know,
You know how I like it straight street.
on site.
It'd definitely be a pay-per-view event because it'd be about
That's what I was thinking.
Because it's
Yeah.
a concert after. Like I said, if you lose, you gotta do a concert. And you gotta be front row watching that. It's just like, God.
Yeah, Manny Pacquiao does sings after he does it after his fight. He'll go and like sing.
Yes, I've seen
that's
it.
so fucking ballsy. That's balls,
I've seen him do
man.
karaoke right after.
Yep.
Like, because we'll go to my brother is affiliated with Team Pacquiao. So one time we went to his fights and my brother showed me around. And after his fight, he had karaoke in his hotel room. I was like, what the fuck?
Hell yeah.
One eye is all, he's just like with an ice pack. Like,
When I wake up in the morning.
yeah. I'm like, wow, this is Filipino at best right here.
Yep.
We'll sing karaoke no matter what.
Yeah, those things are ballsy when fighters book like a post-fight concert or a post-fight show after like a, marquee title fight. It's like, damn, you got to perform. It's fucking crazy. So to end off, because we're almost hitting that 2-hour mark.
Dang, 2 hours. I didn't even realize.
Yeah, right.
Time flew.
I feel like if I ask this question, it'll go on longer, but fuck it. So why don't you like Andrew Tate? Why does Andrew Tate piss you off?
It just, there's this, it's like this trend, not even a trend. It's just a resurgence of this mentality that like all women want is a man with money, and that's all they really care about. And all men want is somebody that looks good. And it's like, yeah, I see a part of that being true, but then also at the same time, not everybody's like that. Like that's such a vast or a huge generalization that really pisses me off, because it's like, first of all, I've dated some broke ass fucking motherfucker. Like that's like a check mark on my list. Like, are you broke? Okay, perfect. You know what I mean? Like,
I think that's a lot of women.
Yeah, it's like it's so infuriating, because I think it's a dangerous stereotype to put out there that women are that shallow, because it makes us seem vulnerable, and it makes us seem dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Like a Fresh and Fit podcast, for example, they always talk about the fucking same shit, and they bring on these beautiful women. They're fucking beautiful, but they obviously are not equipped to have that type of debate, have that type of conversation. And the only reason they're put on that podcast is because they're pretty, and they know that they can talk over them. If you really want to have an intellectual conversation about the status of modern dating, like have that conversation and speak to somebody with facts, with actual facts, and somebody that can carry that. That's like that can be eloquent enough. So it's just frustrating, because I also think a part of it too is like it's who you surround yourself with. Like if you really believe like, oh, all men want is a fucking young, beautiful woman, it's like, okay, it's probably because you're hanging out with guys that all they want is a young, beautiful woman, and they don't care about anything else. And then to say that it's okay for men to sleep around, but if women do it, they're whores. Like, come on.
I think that's always been something that people talk about, right? It's like, well, how come men can sleep around?
Yeah.
But
like
it's true. There's that contradiction when it comes to male or female, when it comes to dating or sex. It's always contradictory. But it's a very toxic community when you have those people talking about it. Like, there's things I listen to Andrew Tate. I'm not gonna lie. I listen to stuff and some of it makes sense, and some I'm like, no.
Are you okay, bro? What happened with you got mommy issues? What happened with your mom?
Yeah, like, I resonate with some of the things he says, but it definitely, I think my biggest gripe with him is the minions that he creates. You know what I mean? Like I do see the benefits of the stuff that he says, because it is more of like I see the resurgence of masculinity that he's trying to put out, because there is the city girls population too, that's kind of rising, and that's kind of the polar opposite of it. But I feel like on his come up, he did play into that character,
Yeah.
So he would say extreme stuff, but now he's kind of more calm, taking that thing. But my biggest shit is like with Sneeko, man. Like I fucking hate that guy. If you guys are familiar with him,
the
he's
rapper guy.
No, he's like another Andrew Tate wannabe.
Yeah, but he makes music too. No, like he was making music.
I don't know if he was making music, but if he did, that shit sucks. I don't want to fight you on the cars.
But I was going to say that there has been like a lot of documented situations, like a bunch of clips I've seen from Kevin Samuels, where he's interviewing women, and there's the way they describe their standard is kind of really unrealistic, and it's also like, what are you bringing to the table to deserve that? Or why would you set the bar so high, and then there's no reciprocity on their
right end. And don't get me wrong, there's some fucking dumb bitches out there, there's some bitches out there that they're shallow, they literally all they want to do is ride off the coattails of another person. But to say that that's all women, and then I also have an issue with like the way that they tell those women like, what do you bring to the table? And then they're like, well, I have my own business, you know, I'm independent. And they're like, okay, what does that do for me? And it's like, what do you mean? What does that do for you? Like, I can fucking pay for my own, you know what I mean? Like I feel like the way that they say it to those women is like, no, you don't have value. What you see as value in yourself is not valuable. You are not valuable. Yeah. Like, you're valuable if I come home and dinner is cooked. Like, bitch, I'll cook your own fucking dinner. You're hungry? Oh, there's food. Go cook it. I'm fucking tired, you know?
Right. Exactly.
And I agree with you. Like, you know, there is a big, it's like Jermaine was saying, it's very toxic.
Yeah.
But everybody's looking for something different. You know, somebody who, whether it's a man or a woman, if they're making, you know, a shit ton of money, they're probably not looking for someone who, you know, would bring like financial benefits to the relationship.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. I think what the issue is this generalization, right? And then also going back to why it could be dangerous is it makes certain men feel like if they have enough money that they can just do whatever they want.
Right.
Like, and why I say dangerous is that, like, as a female, right, you have to walk around your daily life on guard. Mm-hmm. You know, any situation that you're in could be potentially a dangerous situation. Mm-hmm. And so coming from that perspective, I think that's like we're misunderstood when we have an issue with somebody saying those things, because it has different repercussions for us than it does for males.
Yeah, okay, I see you.
Yeah, I could understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I do agree too with the Fresh and Fit podcast. I fucking hate those guys.
Oh my god,
I will fight each and one of you guys on that same card.
Put them all on the undercard.
Put them all on the undercard, bro.
I'll fight their asses too. I'm ready. I'm going with you.
I'll fight their coaches.
They put on certain females to have certain deep conversations that, you know, sometimes they can't dance with some of the topics that that are brought up. Yeah. And it's almost like they're staging, you know, the conversation to get certain loaded clips. Yeah, it's loaded. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I feel like there's a lot of that. And just like with tattooing now, like podcasting, like it's the clips, you know what I mean? It's the followers and everything too. So what I like about this is we bring on people that we naturally like have interest in, and we have just like conversations, you know what I mean? There's not really like a structure, you know, but I feel like there's mostly now, especially with like the Fresh and Fit and like post social media type of podcasting, I feel like it's more like setting up viral conversations to viral clips now, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's exactly what it is. Because one thing I don't like, I've actually been watching, are like these clips that are posted all over Instagram, and you see them kind of glorifying these, like they get these, you know, they got these girls, they're Instagram girls, you know, Instagram, they got the big ass, they got the big titties, whatever. What are you about? I got big tits. Okay.
Hello.
That's great. But, you know, they always have them on, and they're always like, oh, what's the wildest sex thing you've ever done? And people love that shit. And you guys got in the comments like, yeah, what's her at? 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 You know? And it's just like, you know, it's just kind of like, I don't really want to hear that shit. Like, it's, I guess it's funny. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'll listen to it, but I'm like, as someone who wants to listen to a podcast, I want to sit there every day listening, because there was one clip I saw this morning, and it was like this girl talking about how she was on her period, right? And how she let a dude bang her, and she sucked him off right after. And then and everyone's like, what? And everyone's like,
hey, send that link.
And then she asked this girl right next to her, who was sitting next to her on the podcast, like, have you ever done that? And she looked like she was pressured. So she's like, yeah, I've done that.
Oh.
So it's weird. It's just like, oh, why are we? That's okay. If you like doing that, that's cool. I don't need to know about that.
You know, it's like, and it's nothing against those girls, right? Like, it's, you know, even the girls on the ones that go on the Fresh and Fit podcast. Like I said, they're beautiful. They're fucking beautiful. It's just, I think that a lot of times, like in the Fresh and Fit podcast, like, they are brought on to be made to look stupid.
Yeah, they're getting used. It's not the best look for them
also,
PR wise. I agree with you.
It's also their decision. They know what they're getting into to get in there, but that's also the second part of it. The second half of it is people are looking for clout, and people will go on there and say, "Oh, okay, these guys put people on. I want to be part of their clips. Okay, I'll play dumb," and they're playing dumb. And next thing you know, sometime down the line, they'll be like, "I can't believe I said that shit."
Yeah.
I think there was a female rapper that went on Asian Doll. She was on the Fresh and Fit podcast, and she got up and walked out, and I think she like punched one of them in the face, and I was like, "Yes, all right, okay, I'm down. Choose violence."
Hey, we should sign out with one of those where like someone comes on, punches remotely. What'd you say?
I'll send you a punch right now. No, but yeah, you guys are right. It's a weird community. Like the podcasting has blown up. I remember back then I thought podcasts just had something to do with Apple because they had everything pod, iPod. You know, I just thought it was an Apple thing, and that was blowing up. And I like, there's a couple podcasts I listen to. It's cool. And then I'm starting to see like how ratchet these podcasts are getting. Like I said, you got like these Instagram thoughts. That's what they call them. I still don't understand thought. I know what it means, but it's just like, really? That hoe over there?
That's what
I had no idea that's what it
that's what it stands
That's
for.
what it means.
Wow.
That hoe over there. It's like, you're a thought. You're a that hoe over there. So,
That makes me not want to use it anymore. It's not cool. It's not cool
That's
anymore.
so it's just, it's really, you kind of seeing the podcast evolve, and eventually there's going to be something new come on because it's being tainted so badly.
Yeah.
If you're like, I don't want to listen to that.
Yeah.
Talking about buttholes.
There's a market for it, If there's a market for it, people will make it. Some people want to listen to people talking about sucking dicks covered in period blood. So
Send the link.
Jesus.
Send the link.
Go on Pornhub for that. Go on Pornhub if you really want to watch that shit.
oh god.
Maybe some guys are so like numb to Pornhub they'd rather hear a story to like, tell me more.
Oh my god.
No.
That took a weird turn.
Anyway.
That escalated quickly. I am now canceled.
Normal adult conversation.
Patrick dropping N-bombs.
Yeah, dude, I was speaking Spanish negritos. Like, so
Whoa.
it's different, dude.
I'm just kidding.
Or like promoting violence.
Some of my best friends.
It's funny. There was a thing I remember on Facebook. Someone lost their dog, right? And they posted an ad, and then the dog is black, and the person who lost him was Hispanic, and the dog's name was Negro. And everyone's like, "Why would you name your dog the N-word?" It's like in Spanish it means black, but I get it. It's fucked up.
Know.
That's not what he meant.
Again, cultural differences, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, talk about cultural differences. So when I was a kid, I started in this cultural poster where I had to look like I was pledging to Jose Rizal in the Philippines, and the flag was the KKK flag.
Yeah.
Philippines, it means something else.
Yeah.
Bro, I had my cousins come over to stay over at our place one time, and her boyfriend was black, and had all his friends come with him. You know what I mean? And then the poster was in my room.
Oh shit.
And so the next morning, I came home late. The next morning, I invited him over to my room to go smoke. So we were smoking and shit. And then after the blunt, we were looking around, and he saw the poster. He's like, hey, it's like, what's that mean? And I was like, oh shit.
I was young.
It's not what you think, bro.
He looks at the bed. He looks in your closet. You got the bed sheets there. He's like, oh, there's the bed sheets that you wear at these rallies. No, I swear, I was a ghost last Halloween. That's not what it is.
Yeah, so I had to explain that shit real quick, but it's crazy. Cultural differences, man. Being Filipino.
My mom, I had her, I filmed my first episode of my new podcast, Nick at Night.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I love that. I love that name.
Nick at Night.
That is sick.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And my mom was my first guest. And we were talking about cultural differences, and she was telling the story about how when she first came here, she was working, at her data entry job or something like that. And one of her coworkers, this older guy, he came in, it was Veterans Day. And so he was wearing all of his medals and all that stuff. And she was like, how come you're wearing all your stuff? Or like, what is that? And he's like, oh, I'm a vet. It's Veterans Day. And she's like, well, what's this medal for? And he goes, I was in Vietnam. And she was like, but didn't you guys lose? And he just was like, no. And the guy behind the vet was like, no, stop. You never tell them they lost. But it's like, that's what my mom learned in the education in the Philippines. But of course, Americans are like, we won. Like that's so bad. Like,
wow.
That is crazy.
That's where I'm one.
There was one time I was like just out with some friends, and one of my friends, his older brother, had just moved here from another country. I think it was like Africa or something. And like we were all drinking and stuff. And I remember the older brother, who had just like a month ago come to the US, he kept trying to like grab my hand. And I was like, dude, what are you doing?
You have,
and then
hands.
someone had to explain to me, in their culture it's normal for guys to just like hold hands, and they're straight, So it's just crazy.
You do it to someone else, and they're like, "Hey, man, what are you doing?"
Yeah, right.
Hey,
They said it's the culture here.
I heard.
I don't do that shit here, man. What the fuck? I don't know where you from.
Hey, did Brad tell you that? God damn it, Brad!
He's always trying to hold my hand.
He tells everybody that.
imagine going to the hood and trying to do that to somebody.
But, hey,
You probably wouldn't make it out.
when you dap someone, but then you hold on to the hand just a little too long. You're like, you like that?
Let me feel your thumb.
Give my hand back, bro. What the fuck are you doing?
There's another time, like I was at a museum, and I forgot what they were talking about, like ancient man or whatever, and how like humans developed from apes or whatever. And there was a mom and kids in front of me, and I'll never forget. She was telling her kids like, that's not true. It was. She said some like religious stuff, and it was just. I was like, mine was blown. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Don't believe him. Jesus made us. Right? It's like Jesus
Emperor's
did everything.
God.
Jesus, the miracle man.
Imagine how confused that kid was.
Yeah. You mean the guy that died on the cross? He made us. How did he make us if he died?
Like, no, that's another part of him.
Yeah.
I heard a little bit of Kenny.
You're asking too many questions.
Yeah, that was some South Park right there, huh?
Yeah.
Anyway, so you have your own podcast called Nick at Night, and you said you just did your first episode. When is that going to be due out so we can tell our listeners that where they can catch you from here? Because I'm sure after this, maybe someone's going to want to follow you more. So while we wrap this up, I want you to plug in anything you want the viewers to know about you so they can find you after this.
Yeah, thank you. So my new podcast is called Nick at Night. It's spelled Niq at night. You can find it on Spotify. I'm going to be releasing my first episode this Saturday. Mm-hmm. So make sure to check it out. You can also find me on Instagram at nick.at.night. Nick.at.night. There we go.
And that's NIQ, right?
Yes.
Because people are going to type in Nick.
Yes.
She said Nick at Night. I'm on Nickelodeon's page. I don't want to see Cousin Skeeter.
This ain't the Nick at Night. It's a different Nick at Night.
Yeah.
Sorry. So here, let me
It's
type,
Nick
I wonder if I can
dot
type it.
at AT, right? Like,
Yeah, here, I'll type it in the Nick.at. Now that I say it out loud, it sounds a lot more complicated.
Nick. That should be your intro.
I know. I might get sued. So, in addition to my podcast, I also have a tattoo shop in Garden Grove, California. It's called Kulturatattoo, Kultura Tattoo. Not Kultura Inc., Kulturatattoo.
Now, for people wondering if your tattoo shop, is it just a specialty shop, or can you guys do anything really?
We can do almost anything. Yeah. If we can't do it, we'll let you know. I'm not gonna bullshit you and just take your money.
Gotcha. All right. So When is your next episode due? And do you have a guest already coming on that you want to announce here, or is that something you want to announce later on, or you haven't figured it out yet?
I'll announce it later on. Still in the works.
Okay,
I
gotcha.
gotta confirm with my potential guest. So
Got it. All right. So thank you for coming on. I know we took you for a while. I'm sorry, PQ. I know you're on the East Coast, so this is you're probably just trying to stay awake right now.
It's all good, dude. No worries.
Right now.
Glad to be a part of it.
We're trying to be mindful of everyone's time. But yeah, so thank you again for coming on. This was a super cool podcast, and it was cool touching different bases with you as far as culture goes, tattoos, women in tattoo, and just talking about growing up Filipino in the United States. It's fun. It was great. And then talking fights, and you don't normally see that when you have women on your podcast. He's like, I'm talking about sucking. No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about fights. I don't want to talk about it. But so, like I said, thank you again for coming on. My name is Jermaine. You had Jarrell, PQ, and Andrew, and we had Nick at night. So we're going to be signing off for the night, and I hope you guys have a good night. Thank you again, Neek, for coming on. We hope to have you on again soon. It was great.
thank you. Thanks so much for having me, guys.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good
Have
night.
a good one. You too.
All right, take care, guys.
Later, guys. Look at that outro.